Okay, I think I got everything all set now. My computer isn't on fire. Okay, maybe it's slightly on fire. Just like a little. It's just like a little on fire. Just like a little on fire. I think a lot of things broke. So that's not good. Portray marshmallows on the PC exhaust fan. That's a really good idea. I could roast things like that, but I don't think that'll work out. But anyway, hello, everybody. Welcome to another stream. My name, of course, is Alma Hexblade, your head guildmaster and chief barista. And today, it's Friday. And you know what that means. It is, in fact, a Finding Out Friday. So, I think that's pretty cool. This should be up here. Why is it over there? I don't know what happened there. Hold on. Does this work now? There it is. Okay, that works now. I don't know what happened. That was weird. Things got out of place, and I'm not sure why. I gotta lock that. Alright, so we have a special edition today. We got a package in the mail today about today's topic. If you haven't noticed the title, it is the Klein bottle edition of Finding Out Friday, and we will find out why. But of course, we need context. What in the flying hell? Or nope, that's a webcam. Why is everything not working? Hold on. Stuff's broken. I don't know why. Like, okay, well, I know why. You wanna know why? I decided to be a smart aleck and update to a new version of Windows. A new version of Windows before the stream, and it just, everything, like, broke. Stuff broke. Okay, a lot of stuff broke, apparently. Why is this over here? Why is this showing up? What's going on? Anyway, I'm not gonna be too worried about it, because we got.
I think math is.
No, not yet. I need to fix the video. Video's too big. Anyway, we need context about what a Klein bottle is before we keep going. And our lovely grandpa here. Why is this alert widget, like, right here? It's not... Something messed up with these guys. Like, they're not doing this right. Okay. I didn't say I'm unpacking just a Klein bottle. I've never said that. But we need context first. Don't get ahead of yourselves. Okay? This is gonna be the first video, and then the surprise will happen.
Math ain't about numbers. If you think math is about numbers, you probably think that Shakespeare is all about words. You probably think that dancing is all about shoes. You probably think that music is all about notes. Math ain't about numbers. Math is about logic. It's about beauty. It's about connections. It's about how you get from one place to another. And for me,
he's right, honestly.
The cool thing about math is a part of it called topology. I'm not even going to tell you about topology because what I'm interested in is a little section of topology called non-orientable manifolds. More specifically, I'm interested in Klein bottles. This is a Klein bottle. Wait a second. We haven't even touched upon a Mobius loop. How can I talk about a Klein bottle without talking about a Mobius loop? I take a piece of paper. As everybody knows, if I have this piece of paper, it has two sides, four edges. Turn it around this way, it becomes a cylinder. Give it a half twist, and a piece of tape becomes a Mobius loop. Well, the cool thing about a Mobius loop, there's about 50 or 60 cool things about a Mobius loop, is that it's got one side, it's got one edge. Take two Mobius loops, one a left-handed one, the other a right-handed one, and I try to connect them. Hey, this one has one edge, this one has one edge. What happens if I take two Mobius loops and sew their edges together? Well, I know from experience that if I have 4 edges here and 4 edges here and I connect them, oh, I'll get something that has fewer edges. So if I apply that to a Mobius loop, I've got one edge here, sew them together, I should get something that has, oh, I'd lose this edge, I'd lose that edge, I ought to have something with no edges.
0 edges.
Cool. If I take 2 Mobius loops, hook them together, I'll get something without any edges. Okay, I'm going to try it. Hot damn! Far out. Here's a Mobius loop. Here's another Mobius loop. The cool thing is that if I take 2 Mobius loops and try to sew them together,
I love that he has knitted
with a
Mobius
shape
loops.
that requires 4 spatial dimensions to exist. And that shape is called a Klein bottle, named after Felix Klein.
There we go.
Felix Klein, this guy in 1882 came up with the absolutely nifty idea that if you can take a cylinder, turn it around, and orient one end of it, and
I used to have one
loop
too.
it
They were pretty
through.
trendy.
So his idea was take a cylinder.
Well, those were called
bring it through
infinity
itself,
scarves. I think that's
and
different.
Have the end of the cylinder.
I'm pretty sure infinity
welded
scarves
to
were
the
not
base,
Mobius loops.
That this would have the cool property.
Unless
of
someone can
having
prove me
only
wrong.
One side. Well, what do I mean by one side? If I have an ant crawling around here, ant or caterpillar crawls around, oh, clearly it can cover this whole thing. It can then slide continuously over there through this tube and get to the other side of this piece of glass. We never cross an edge to get to the inside. Absolutely nifty. In an ordinary, let me get an ordinary bottle. Ordinary bottle. Well, if I leave the cap on the bottle, clearly it has 2 sides. Here's an outside, and the inside of the bottle is where I'm touching right now. An ant walking around here couldn't get to the other side. If I take the top off, watch this. An ant walking along here can get to the other side, but he has to cross a peculiar location called an edge. If I make this bottle arbitrarily thin, this edge becomes sharp, and the ant cuts herself when she tries to walk from the outside.
I also
to
like
the
how
inside.
he gendered an ant.
In other words, an ordinary bottle has
Actually, wait,
2
no,
sides.
ants only have
An
like
outside that
nope,
I'm
ants
touching,
have 2 genders. I'm
and an
wrong.
inside that my finger is touching right now. And they're separated by the lip of the bottle. And, okay, we all know this. A Klein bottle, meanwhile, watch this. You can walk around here just like
are watching.
walk around here,
I'm here for the
but
watching.
the other side of my finger I can get to without ever crossing a sharp edge. By carefully walking along, never crossing an edge, going through this tube and getting to the place that's just on the other side of my finger without ever crossing an edge. In other words, this is a bottle without an edge.
Cliff, I'm comfortable with that, except you just told me that this wasn't possible in 3 dimensions.
If we lived in a universe with 4 spatial dimensions, 4 space, this tube wouldn't have to intersect itself.
Foursquare.
This
Slightly different.
weird place where there's self-intersection, right there, that would not self-intersect. And an ant walking along this way would go boop, 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 and go right through this piece of glass here and keep walking to the inside. And an ant walking around this way would go right through this and keep walking this way.
Cliff, that hole that you've created there so the tube can get through is like the floor.
This is worse than the floor. It's this place right here where the manifold, where the glass intersects itself. It's a figment of living in a 3-dimensional universe. If we lived in 4 space, we could go right through. On the other hand, that guy Felix Klein showed that in 3 dimensions you have to have this intersection. In a quality universe that has 4 spatial dimensions, Klein bottles would be terrific. Here, unfortunately,
Quality
Klein bottles
universe.
have to have this
Only the best universes got 4 spatial dimensions. I'm doing a chef's kiss right now. Only the best.
Intersection. When I make Klein bottle hats, right? Here's a hat that is the same thing as that glass Klein bottle.
He has Klein bottle hats.
Instead of welding it together,
Important information.
I've knitted this hat so that the peak of the hat comes through itself, so that the hat itself the loop of the hat can be pulled through itself and turn it inside out. But I'd rather not do this because it takes about 5 minutes to do, and I'm stretching things.
I wish that guy was my grandpa. I wish he was my grandpa too.
But ultimately, I ought to be able to pull this sort of inside out, sort of. It's continuously deformable back to itself.
Cool.
And along with a matching Mobius scarf. I'd like to say I'm ready for a California winter. Look, 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 look. Friend of mine, Robert Lang, made a paper origami Klein bottle. I mean, absolutely sweet. One sheet of paper, it's an origami Klein bottle. One of the neat things about mathematical topology is that you don't care what size something is. I can expand this, contract it. I can make this, I can stretch it, and it'll still have the same mathematical properties. Same number of sides, same number of holes, same number of handles. Instead of making a big one, I could make it smaller.
Tiny.
I could make an even smaller Klein bottle.
Baby.
I can make a Klein bottle even smaller. To a mathematician, these are all the same thing.
I love this tiny one so much. You'll never guess how this guy looped back to our other interests. Studying for his undergraduate degree at SUNY Buffalo, Chris Stoll worked in the university's electronic music lab and was mentored by Robert Moog. What? I didn't even know this about him. What? Yo! Oh my god, this guy is my favorite grandpa ever. Yo, I didn't even fucking know that. That's so cool. He's so cool. He's like my favorite grandpa.
And, of course, I can go in the other direction as well.
Playing a giant
I can
Sith
make
like
him big.
testicle oil, honestly, yeah.
So,
He's so
I had
cute.
to put 1,000 Klein bottles someplace, so I put them under my house. And the wheels, you know, they're little motors drive
I
the
think
wheels
I've
around.
showed you guys videos from Clipstone before. Or that have Clipstone in them. They're amazing. Okay. I'm too excited. I can't not do this anymore. So hold on. I need to prep something. Give me a minute. Okay. It's not gonna get in shot, so I have to like figure out how to do this. Give me a moment. Also, apologies for what's probably going to be vertical video. Is it on? Let's find out if this is on. Oh my god, it is. Okay, here we go. Real time. Guess who got mail from Cliff Stoll? Look at this box. I mean, obviously, don't look at this because there's tracking information. I got mail from Cliff Stoll. I got a thing from the guy from the video we just watched. And this is incredibly laggy. Why is this so bad? All right, let me zoom out. Let me just show you what he put on this goddamn box because it is it's adorable. And I don't know why this is so laggy. I really expected this to go better. It's like he drew like broken like little glass with faces all over it. It's like this came in this came in today, by the way. It came in on the shipping today. And like he wrote like, you know, obviously, you know, the fragile stuff, He wrote that this was, I believe it says, oh yeah, no, it's faded because it was raining, but it said Mobius loop on it because he's technically right, because he's right. The recycle sign is in fact a Mobius loop. More fragile content. All right. I need to be careful because I don't want to spoil the surprise, and I opened it, got excited, and then closed the box again. There we go. We got more art from Cliff. Non-orientable. What's that last one? Baryonic. Yes, that's the word. And is a broken glass guy. All right. So, before we even get to the box, because there's more to this entire thing, I have to show you guys some pictures. I have to show you guys some pictures before I even get to the box. You should have put a cheeky this. He has more cheeky things inside the box. You guys don't understand. Let me close this out really quickly. Studio. Let me exit the camera mode because this is such a wild thing. So let me read the email he sent me. Those look like holy pandas? No, they are not. God, I hate those. I'm not gonna read this. I'm not gonna read this out because it has personal information on it. But I will read what is as much as I can do. So I got a Klein bottle from him, and let's see here. He sent me photos. He sent me photos of the Klein bottle on its little journey. Let me just bring these up. Look, it's dated. You may see some of the stuff that he's packed for me. So that's his desk. That's where he's, like, you can tell. That's where he stores all the bottles, all behind that desk. It's 238 grams. It's great to know. I love that it's also pictured right next to the actual guy who invented it. That was a very good detail. There it is. He signed it too. Cliff Stoll with one-sided cheers from the fourth dimension! Exclamation point. And he took it outside. And took pictures with it. I believe what he said for these was that this was his wife's garden. He took it outside on the 13th and took pictures with it. There he is! He's so happy. He took, like, these are lovely pictures, but these are so cute. These are absolutely adorable. And he packed it up real nice and tight, and you can see packed up the other stuff. He also took a picture of that and just, like, all of it on its journey out. And he left me some packing slips and documentation. So I love this man so much. And I really, really want to go over all the other stuff he sent me before we got to the Klein bottle. Because obviously that's not the star of the show right now. Why? Oh, shoot. Hold on. Oh, no. Okay, hold on. I may have accidentally deleted something. So I need to... Give me a second. I need to open up my Google Drive again. He sent me other stuff as well. I can't show that because it has some of my personal information, so I'm not going to do that. For obvious reasons. Is this... Let me just double check that I have the right document. Oh my god, it wasn't. Hold on. Is this the one? Because there's one that has my edited out... When was this made? That has my information on it redacted. I may need to re-redact this, so give me a second. Yeah, hold on. I may need to re-redact the document I have. Because I straight up... Oh! It did save my redactions. Hold on. Why did it not save? I saved it to my desktop. Okay. Yeah, there it is. Okay, I redacted everything. So, here's what we got. He sent me documentation and a bunch of stuff. Like papers and documents and stuff for all this. And I wish I knew how to zoom in. What is it? Control plus? Oh, I don't have that key. Oh yeah, there we go. So I'm gonna read this out because this is just actually amazing. Okay, seriously, why can't I? Okay, I guess we're gonna have to read it with the window in the way because it's also fantastic. Let me see here. And it's just as quirky as he is, and I love it so much. Look at this. You should put on some special reading music. What should I put this on? Hold on. Like, ambient free. Hold on. I think I can think of something. Hold on. Oh. Good Lord, what is this? It's the nerdiest thing I think I'm going to talk about today. Hold on. Where's the version with hot? There it is. This is what I needed. Unimportant information. Dear person who now owns an Acme Klein bottle. Oh, this is the slip that was for the Mobius loop and hat scarf. So, as you inspect your woolen Klein bottle, hat, and Mobius loop scarf, please note that our shipping department has gently packed your manifolds with some of the least advanced packing techniques available in today's modern world. Since a Klein bottle has 0 volume, it needs neither box nor packing materials. Despite this, we've included a free tridimensional shipping container, which has been specially made for you to store a wide variety of objects. As an additional feature, Acme's trained troglodyte has customized it with your very own name and address. Our talented knitters made your Klein bottle hat both compact and boundary-free, so that the Gauss bonnet theorem applies. So even if you stretch, fold, or wrinkle your hat, its total integrated curvature will remain constant. This is such a great mood right now. In fact, the total Gaussian curvature equals 2 pi times its Euler characteristics, a surprising result that connects geometry, curvature, with topology, Euler characteristic. This is the part where I don't know what the fuck he's saying due to the fact that I did not study any form of mathematics in college. The Gaussian curvature at a point is the product of minimum and maximum curvatures at that point. The total Gaussian curvature is the integral of the Gaussian curvature over the whole surface. I've already lost track of what he's saying. And you can find the Euler characteristic by cutting your Klein bottle into triangles, then adding the number of vertices and faces of those triangles and subtracting the number of edges. What the hell? We're learning. You'll find that the Euler characteristic is 0. And sure enough, so it is its total Gaussian curvature. All the way with Gauss bonnet. Oh, okay, we're almost done, Dory. You can explore your hat's continuity and differentiability by gently turning it inside and out. You'll also discover the knots that tie together colored yarn. Please use care. The knitting around the transverse hole can easily be torn if stretched too much. Treat your woolen manifolds with kindness. They will respond with warmth. Both hat and scarf have been knit for a wide variety of human sizes and shapes. Expect a snug fit, as we've chosen knitting patterns to allow them to stretch. We've included a vinyl decal to calibrate and identify your Acme Klein bottle. It doesn't stick really well to wool, but you need to measure the volume of your Klein bottle hat. This should do the trick. It needs a no adhesive so you can remove it during leap years should the authorities so require. Applied properly, we're certified that these calibrations cannot be traced to the National Institute of Standards and Technology, Measurement Canada, the British National Physics. You know where this is going. You know where this is going. This is literally every single every single world standards for units, like all of them, like literally all of them. And the joke is that a Klein bottle actually has no volume. So the stickers that they actually send me have measurements of 0 to 0 milliliters. They do not have any, they don't have anything. With best wishes from your continued topological explorations in Miss Median Mode Middle Mean, Assistant Averager, shortened to Meanie. I love this part. And there's a side 2. This is, by the way, this is insane. I love every single bit of this. Okay? All right. This is the inspection report from the bottle hat. It was inspected by operand. That number looks familiar. I think it's pi. Style, very stylish. Steams, manifold holds together. That's great. Clarity, opaque. Yeah, that's right. Material, it's not cheap plastic. It is all natural, 95% wool and 5% mohair. It's not quality hand-blown glass. It's not made out of kryptonite. I wish I had the option. It's not either made out of 4-dimensional unobtainium. Kind of disappointed. The option wasn't there. I couldn't check it out of my shopping cart. So it has 3 special dimensions, plus or minus. I believe that's probably enough for floating point numbers. Yeah, it might have been out of stock. We don't know. Euler characteristic, number of sides. Here's the part that confused me. It has 1 number of sides and then 0.00305 plus or minus 001. So I think that may be a rounding problem, but it's at the same time, the tolerance is fine enough. I don't need to worry. Number of handles, 1 plus or minus a half. I did not know you could have half a handle. Number of holes, 1 exactly. There it is. Yep, there it is. Volume, 0 milliliters, 0 fluid ounces. And he's even been very nice to include very good measurements with this. Manifold test, boundless, non-orientable. This is Y2K compliant, if anyone is asking. This is the most important part. It's what this hat is Y2K compliant. I love this. Like, there's just so much, like, this is like Time Cube, but better. Honestly. We at Acme strive to create the finest non-orientable surfaces and hope you will be happy with your new Acme manifold. We unconditionally guarantee your Acme Klein bottle hat and Mobius scarf to be free of any defects in workmanship, workwomanship, and work-itsmanship. I guess that's the third way of saying it. When I saw the wall of text on the last page, I thought Times Cube, but I didn't want to say it in case it came off as mean. Nah, he's an astrophysicist. Everything he says is just a really good joke. If you aren't satisfied with your Acme, just return it for a replacement. Okay, that's fine. 3 months. Let's see here. Furthermore, we warrant each Acme Klein bottle for a period of 5 years to be absolutely free of any magnetic monopoles. If you discover one, we will refund your purchase price right after the Nobel Prize ceremony. I can't believe I have to explain these jokes. The joke is that most magnets we have in our world are dipole, as in they have a north and a south. If you find a magnet that only has one pole, you're right, you would be awarded the Nobel Prize in Science. We warned for 10 years that a polyhedron spanning your Acme Klein bottle will have the same number of edges as the sum of its vertices plus faces. Yep, that's also true. Oh yeah, Acme guarantees for 1 million years that within a Euclidean plane, the sum of the squares of the legs of a right-angled triangle will equal the square of the hypotenuse. Huh! That sounds like a fun theorem. I bet someone made that. What was his name? Like, I don't know, Pythagoras? I think it's that guy. Yeah. All other warranties expressed and implied are null and void except during total solar eclipses. Purchaser shall have the option at his, her, or its sole discretion to try and collect on this guarantee. Guarantee void if a substantial portion of the bottle leaks into the fourth dimension. The big print giveth, and the small print taketh away. I love him. I love all this dumb stuff. But yeah, there's even more. Like, look, it's an advertisement for a Klein bottle. I'm not gonna read all of it, but like, it's real good. So what's a Klein bottle? A German topologist named Klein thought the Mobius loop was divine, said he. If you glue the edges of two, you get a weird bottle like mine. Valid. Also, I'm also pretty sure that... Oh, shoot. I missed out on this part. No two Acme bottles are alike, and since each is craft-handed in low-expansion borosilicate glass, so the same type of glass that they use for, what was it? Like, scientific measurement, like glass instruments? By happy glass blowers while humming Beethoven sonatas. Nice. Triple sealed with an oxyhydrogen torch, annealed, then individually inspected by a PhD astrophysicist. Psst. That's Cliff. Smiling grandmothers knit... Yeah. You can actually fill your glass Acme Klein bottle with colored water. In Britain, Canada, and Australia use colored water. Thanks. With a carefully positioned center of gravity, your Acme Klein bottle stands on its own. No stand needed, nor cumbersome time-space spring hooks. Rust-proof, microwave-safe, batteries not required, Y2K compliant. I love this. It's all. He sent me all of these papers. I will just let you know this. He sent me all of this. Also, you know what? This is actually a very good line. Actually, I want to take this to my grave. For best results, avoid doing stupid things. I'm so glad I suggested the music. Yeah. Well, no, it's not no avail. It's no avail. What are you talking about? Okay, so this is the page, this is the paper he sent me for the actual Klein bottle. I have not read this entire thing, so I don't even know what it actually says. We usually cushion glassware with inflated plastic pillows. They're made from organic substances carefully extracted from select carbon and hydrogen atoms. We inflate each pillow with a sample of California's left coast atmosphere. You can safely recycle the enclosed air on any oxygen-rich planet. I haven't read this. This is ridiculous. I love this. Occasionally, we fill the voids with a shipping container with biodegradable peanuts. These come from corn harvested either in the Great American Midwest or someplace else. Our kids lick them and stick them to their faces. You can get rid of the peanuts, and kids by squirting them with a hose. Soak up the ensuing mess with a mender sponge. I love reading through this. Yeah, and then some of these are duplicates from before. But obviously, like, you know, this is fine. I want to save these papers because these are the best things ever. Alternatively, I will make a reading of this and post it on YouTube. Oh, shoot. This part is actually really good. Hold on. So, this is the care page for the Klein bottle. Let me read this part out. Avoid subjecting your glass Klein bottle to transformations which substantially increase its internal Cauchy stress tensor. Specifically, dihydrogen monoxide has a coefficient of expansion which is negatively correlated with the temperature near its freezing point, and thus expands when its phase transitions from liquid to solid. This volumetric increase can cause stresses within the containing vessel. Acme's high-quality glass has a bounded tensile strength, and if exceeded, certain silicate bonds may break, resulting in stress-reduced fracture. In other words, freezing water expands and will shatter your glass Klein bottle. Tomorrow morning, your housemate will open the freezer to find vitreous shards in her grape popsicle. Oh yeah, there it is. He also gives instructions on how to fill a Klein bottle, which is just great. Like, yeah, this is made of Pyrex, so this is great. I happily make glass Klein bottles shaped like cups, vases, wine carafes, and beer steins. He's in fact made all of these. I'm also too aware that these are impractical for holding wine, beer, or even water. Experiment your Klein bottle, but I suggest not pouring it in liquids unless you're willing to spend some time drying it out. Oh, this one's good. Caution, the tiny Klein bottles and earrings are not toys. Do not allow children to play with them. The Klein bottle could be swallowed and your kid will wind up in either the fourth dimension or the emergency room. These may be the same place. Come to think of it, none of my glass bottles are toys. They can break perhaps into pairs of Mobius loops, but more likely into other, less friendly shapes and shards. Also, it's easy to misplace your tiny Klein bottle, so tie a string or rubber band around it. Okay. We're not even done yet, because here's the shipping invoice. And this has, like, as many Easter eggs as I could possibly find, and I love it. Look at this, look at this. Oh, whoops, there's my email. Online invoice number. That looks familiar. I'm not sure what digits end in 116674, but, you know, whatever. Theoretical tridimension size of box in inches, which is 11 and 11 by 7. That is the box that this came into. So, here's the invoice. Proxo by volume, not weight. Some settling may occur during shipment. Full function dimensionality is guaranteed. If your Klein bottle is attempted to return to the fourth dimension or is cracked or broken in transit, please take a photo of the shards and email it to me. I'll immediately replace it. Cliff is so nice, by the way. Oh yeah, there's also a thing on the side. There's a ruler here too, which is even cute. Cut between the two scales labeled C and D. Thanks to the wonderful properties of logarithms, you'll have a slide rule you can multiply and divide with. It comes with a free slide rule, guys. Free slide rule. The value is here. Also, like, I love that, like, there's the actual, like, oh yeah, dimensions. That's important. These came in 3 dimensions. I didn't know there was an option, so there's that. So there's the total I paid. Shipping, handling, box, and scotch tape. Very important. So he sent me multiple of these, so I could not tell. Oh yeah, each one of these apparently has just a different funny thing on the top. So there was theoretical tridimensional size of box in inches. There is number of deadly sins excluding sloth. 6, that valid. Oh yeah, he also signed this, which was very cute. With warm, one-sided greetings and manifold joys. Exclamation point, Cliff style. Is very good. This box intentionally left blank, thanks. Products sold by volume, yep. This one-sided manifold is prepaid, amount due, nothing. Please do not remit immediately at your first possible opportunity as soon as possible. Thank you. And there's the other one for the Big Stein bottle. Non-orientable smiles and unbounded topological glee. These are very cute. The logarithmic spiral, I love. So these are all the pictures of the stuff he's shown. I got from him. And this is not including the wonderful, wonderful emails he sent me when I did make my purchase. He's a wonderful person. Sold by volume, not by weight, which is really awkward because, again, Klein bottles don't have a volume. So, hold on. Now that we've gotten all that out of the way, I'm going to bring back the camera as it struggles to do so. There we go. And we will look at the Klein bottle together. If it loads. Uh-oh. The Miku music really does make it, and honestly, this is my favorite. Uh-oh, hold on. The camera has stopped working. It's not even covered by anything. Hold on. Let me double check something because I think something's not right. Wait. There we go. Oh. Well, there. Oh, it is super duper not having a good time. Oh, no. Uh-oh. I don't think it's working anymore. It just worked. It just worked and now it's dead. Hold on. I will get this to work again. Man, I super duper hope I don't need to restart my phone for this. Oh, you know what? It's a permissions issue. Hold on. Putty will help. Thank you, Putty. I need tech support. Hey, oh no. Okay, there we go. Camera permissions. Microphone, yeah. Music and audio, yeah. Notifications, yeah. Ah, there we go. It's working again. Okay, yeah, there we go. It's working. All right, okay. So give me a sec. For all the papers he got me, they're real. They are all real. I'm not going to show them all because they have my information on them. They're all real. He sent me a bunch of decals to put on our Klein bottle. Probably more than I needed, but you know what? I'm okay with that. Like a lot more, honestly. And stickers. He sent decals and stickers. Look at this. Look at this piece of art. I think my favorite part about it is that it's actually made out of real borosilicate glass, like he says. How close can this get without losing focus? That's actually pretty close. Yeah, I have one. How many stickers do I have? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't even care. I'm putting these on everything. All right. Now, without further ado, the goods. The important goods. First. Oops. I got the blue color. Here is my Klein bottle hat, knitted lovingly. As you can see, if I stick a hand in it, I can all the way in there and to the other side, which is the inside of this. I'm not going to do it now because, like I mentioned, it's kind of stretchy, but it is in fact real. It is topologically correct, or at least as a Klein bottle. And the Mobius scarf, you can tell it's a Mobius strip because of the wonderful half turn in the center. It looks very cute. I chose blue because I like blue. And this will be what I'm going to be wearing for the winter in Boston. Because why wouldn't I? This was made with love and wool and 4 dimensions. So why would I not want to wear this? So we got those. Now, I'm slowly getting the big kahuna out of here. And this will be hard because this is wearing a scarf from your grandpa exactly. And here he is. Packed up nice and tight. I actually unpackaged this already just to make sure, like, just to see what it is. And that it did not, in fact, get shattered into a bajillion pieces or fell into the 4th dimension. So there's that. So it was actually packaged better than what you're seeing, because I did this myself to myself. Hold on. You guys ready for the Klein bottle? One-handed. Yep. It's dexterity. I have very good hand dexterity, clearly. There it is. There it is. It's like real. It's so cute. And like I mentioned, hold on. Borosilicate glass. It's Pyrex. So like real science stuff going on right now. And let me show you what's on the bottom. There it is. Oh, hold on. Focus is out of there. Yep, so like you mentioned before, with... Come on. Come on. Focus. Focus, camera! With one-sided cheers plus... What was the other thing? From the fourth... Oh, yeah, from the fourth dimension. Cliff Stole. You even signed it for me. So... This was... I wonder if you could put your V-Ray model in the Klein bottle. Technically, but the thing with that is that you can't get stuff out of it. I mean, unless you're, like, in there, because, like, of course you can, you know, like we mentioned, get an ant going there. And you're into the chamber here. Alright. Now, there's one last touch, and that touch is to apply the sticker on it. Give me a second while I do that. Where's the good vinyl sticker on here? Oh, are any of these inverted? They're not. Okay, no, it's fine. Okay. So, give me a second. I'm applying my official graduated measurements onto this bottle. So it's like, you know, like real, and so it's real. Okay, wow, this is not as sticky as I was expecting it. I was expecting it to be stickier. I might need to use another one, hold on. Okay, I don't think these are... Oh, these are vinyl. Like, all of these are vinyl. These are not actually, like, stickers. Hold on. I'm silly. None of them are actually... They're vinyl. These don't stick. They just kind of stay on the glass. Let me just apply this. Now, this is hard because it warps. Now you could... Brandon, I can't smoke weed out of it. It only has one hole. Where am I supposed to blow? Or toke. Or words. Screen's black. I know, it's because the webcam's on the ground. I know the screen's black. It's because the webcam is on the... Oh, hold on. It locked my phone. Come on. Oh, man. Hold on. Refresh. No. It closed again. Oh, man. Hold on. Oh, wait. Ha, we know your IP, nerd. Oh no, I got doxed or whatever. Okay, it's not actually working, but I'll take a picture of it. Long story short, I applied the funny decal to my Klein bottle. All right. That was a very fun journey. I'm glad to have taken that with you guys, but we got other things to do now. So, Let us continue. All right. So next video here is well, actually, let me keep going with a little bit of just like explanation of what else. If you want your own Klein bottle, kleinbottle.com. It is the most jank website I've ever seen in my life. But at the same time, Cliff, in fact, did make this website himself. It's legit. Look at this. There he is. Look how big it is. But yes, he did, in fact, make this website. Okay. My website looks old-fashioned because it loads faster this way, and mainly I'm too lazy to rewrite it. I wrote much of it between 1996 to 1999 before CSS was invented. I last updated it on the August in 2022 while trying to clean out my backyard shed. See below. Yeah. But, so, yes. Please go to kleinbottle.com and purchase your own Klein bottle. They are very wonderful ones, such as the large one that I got today, the medium one, and then the baby. It's labeled baby. There are the other wonderful ones, like the Klein wine bottle. It's very pretty. Have fun trying to get wine out of it. And large ones. And the hat and Mobius scarf. It comes matching, and it has free shipping. This Klein bottle looks like a question mark, or a dumbbell. If you're fanciful, you can have them as earrings. My favorite one that I did not purchase, and I kind of wish I did, but I will do it later, is a Klein bottle stein, also known as a Klein stein. You can drink water from it. It's probably not recommended. Yeah, there it is. And again, my warning. This is not a good drinking glass. It is difficult to get liquids in. Difficult to get liquids out. It's difficult to clean. Also difficult to make if that's any consolidation. Please treat it as a mathematical curiosity. You know, these are just all... Like, though his website is a wonderful... great just read. There's just funny stuff in here. It's so good. This Klein stein is the ideal is ideal for the mathematical physicist who needs a glass of water while accepting her Nobel Prize. Perfect for the Silicon Valley programmer swicking Jolton an all-nighter. Just a thing to quench the thirst of the multi-billionaire following a leveraged buyout of the U.S. government. Indeed, think of all the seminars, colloquia, interviews, and funerals that would be jazzed up with an Acme Klein bottle mug at your side. Now, thanks to the wonders of modern technology, this multi-purpose Klein bottle is available for a mere $95. Cheaper than sending a space probe most of the way to Mars. Please. Please buy these. Please buy these. Please support this man. He has 1,000 of these under his house. Please help him get rid of them. I don't think he actually wants to. Oh my god, I actually forgot this part at the beginning. This looks like a glass cup, but wait, it has two big chambers connected by a hollow handle. In fact, it's actually a Klein bottle. Hot ziggity! A Klein bottle that delivers liquid straight to your wanting lips. Yep, you heard me right. You can drink right from this cup. Poured beer and it's a Klein stein. Would you believe Einstein's Klein stein? I love reading these. And I kind of want to read more of his website. Because I just personally just enjoy this man and I wish him the best in life. This entire purchasing process was the best thing that I ever did on Impulse, ever. And this is probably more memorable than my trip to Disney World. Mind you, that trip to Disney World was when I was 5 and did not have, and basically was not sentient yet. But this was in fact the best thing I've ever done in my life for about $100. Please. Anyway. Okay, that's the end of my Klein Bottle rant, my Klein Bottle TED Talk. Did you know that Cliff Stoll was also did a TED Talk? This man does everything. Anyway. Sorry, I'm gonna stop now. I'll stop now. I'll move on. We're gonna move on. We're making funny things. So, this next video was submitted by, I believe this was Rose, from Look Mom No Computer. It was making a synthesizer out of relays. And I'm scared about the fact that this says part 1 and there's a part 2. But hey, let's listen to part 1 first.
Relays. We're not talking about relay races, we're talking about electromechanical switches. Actually, relay and relays, they sort of derive the same definition from the same situation, and that is relaying something. In a relay race, you're relaying a baton. In relays, you're relaying electricity. Electric relays are surprisingly old. They have been
all
around
the times
since
he says
the early
relays makes it very
1800s. All of the early ones were made for a very similar purpose.
I'm ready
for relaying information long distances.
I'm ready
Over time,
to
the signals fade and will require boosting.
have the word relay not become a word
keep on
anymore
going
by
and
the end
keep
of
on
this
going, and
video.
that's where
I'm very
a relay
excited.
comes in. So this is a relay, but this is also a relay. It's a pretty mahoosive relay at that. I'm pretty sure this relay is from some sort of rail thing, some sort of railway
As the
communication
label
or
says.
junction or
Oh,
something
okay.
like that. But regardless, it's just a big relay, and this relay is perfect for showing you what the heck a relay is. How many times do I need to say relay? So initially, the relays were made to basically amplify signals. They took a relatively small signal and relayed it
A 90s
into
style
a much
slightly
larger signal
educational kids
using
show.
these things
Hey,
over
I have a
here.
90s
Relays
style
do that by using electromagnetic
slightly
charge
edgy
that basically
educational
attracts
kids show.
a bit of a switch to make the
Wow.
switch magically do its switchy thing. Have a watch. See that? So this is the switching mechanism of the relay. It causes the actual switch to break and make. If you see that, it's doing its breaky-makey thing. So there's 3 different parts
Don't
of the switch.
break my heart.
There's the switch
My
part
break-
that is here that is
Nope.
currently connected
Nope,
together. You'll
joke's
see this
gone.
part and this part are actually touching each other. That means the signal going up the center is going to come out of this side. And this is what is called the normally closed side of the switch. That's because normally when there's no electricity being run through anything, well, this part of the switch is actually conducting. So you can send something into here and it will come out of this side. And then there's the other bit here, and this is called the normally open contact. That's because it's normally open until you send electric charge through the electromagnet, and then it will close and it will make the contact between these 2 contacts. So you've got 2 poles to the switch. You've got the normally open
Basically,
and the
old-timey
normally closed.
transistors.
And these come in.
Well, old-timey is not necessarily true for the case of a relay. Basically, what a relay is doing is it is using a small current to control a switch that can handle a much larger current. So, let's say modern relays that an example of a modern relay is, let's say, like those smart IoT switches that you can buy is like, oh, you can plug this in, connect it to the Wi-Fi, set it up, whatever, and you can remotely tell the switch to turn on and off, usually helpful for lights and stuff. Basically, there's a small current, when you activate it, there's a small current that clicks on. There's a small current which basically activates the relay, and the relay makes the connection to use wall outlet power to power the lamp. And obviously, the small electronics, the signaling electronics, absolutely cannot stand getting subjected to, the house voltage or the mains voltage, because they only run on tiny 3.3 volts, 5 volts, 9 volts, 12 volts, not the voltages that are in the mains power. They'd blow up. So that's what relays are for. But they use it in relay. They use stuff in railways and roller coasters as well. It's kind of the same way. It's a small amount of energy put to power a larger device that requires more effort. It's a good way of separating vastly different. Well, it's less like that. It's while still having the communicate. It's sort of. It's like basically sending a signal voltage to a switch and saying, "Hey, activate," and then the switch can do its job. And that switch that does its job can handle like so much more current than the communication signal. But they're not old school. They're used in a lot of things, in a lot of smart electronics, or like computerizing, managing incredibly high voltage or dangerous, like, high power situations where a tiny PCB cannot trace, cannot carry mains voltage all the way through it, that type of thing. But anyway,
handy in various.
It's not the reason why they look like they're old school is because they need to be large in order to accept the current that's going through it. Because the thicker the conductor, the more it can withstand the same voltage. By old school, I mean they were invented a good bit before transistors. Yeah, this was before those times.
It's different arrays. This specific relay right here actually has 4 switches in it. There you can see there's one here, one here, one here, and one here. And these are all isolated from each other so they can be wired in to different things. Let's fire it up again. Oh yeah. As time went on, the use and applications of relays also evolved and stuff, as people found that they had a plethora of uses. In fact, there was a time, starting in the 1930s and stuff, where relays actually replaced the functioning parts in mechanical computers. So you've got relay computers, and this was just before the vacuum-based computers came in, which were a lot quicker than the clickety-clickety traps. And there are actually quite a lot of modern DIY relay computers about, including relay clocks, relay counters, this, that, and the other. So if you're interested in
relay clocks,
search up relay computer and just hear all the clicky magic. Oh yeah. Electromechanical relays come.
Hold up, I need to look this up in a different window.
In all shapes and sizes, and they are around still everywhere. Even my modern audio interface has a relay inside it. If you listen to this about 5 seconds after it boots up, you'll hear a relay clipping on or off. This is to switch some sort of isolated signal in there. Not 100% sure what it's from, but maybe it's because there's a weird noise that happens when it starts and it just kind of bypasses that. Who knows? But regardless, you do find them in modern machines. And here's a few examples of some relays. You've got a starter solenoid from a traditional engine starter of a car. This is electromagnetic, and yeah, it's a relay. Oh, just look at that, that's so chunky. It's a massive solenoid that does a couple of jobs when starting a car, including pushing some of the mechanism into the engine to get it going, but it also makes electronic contact. As you can see, the bulb turns on when you flick it. This is a reed relay. You find them in burglar alarms, this, that, and the other, and they are quite silent. You don't hardly hear them, or you can hardly see them. You can also get these in standard integrated circuit packages as well. Ooh, look at that doing its thing. So the polarized relay has 2 choices. You can either send it this way, you could send it off, or you could send it that way. So we send it this way, but you can also flip the polarity and flip it all the way over to this side. And if you turn it off, it goes back to the center again. So we flick that again. It's on, you flick it off, it goes to this side. Ooh.
Click,
ooh,
click,
ooh,
click,
ooh,
click,
yeah,
click,
yeah,
click.
yeah. A post office relay has a lot of switches inside the same relay. As you can see, there's a lot moving in there when it's doing its thing. Thermal relays use a heating filament to actually warp it into shape, so it actually adds a time delay. This one has a 20-second time delay, so when you flick it on, it starts heating up, and as it heats up, it gets ready to do its switchy thing. Hey, there we go, it's turned on. I've also done a...
That's how toasters work, everybody. Well, slightly different, but the idea is there.
video on the Museum of Everything Else YouTube channel about an Edison thermal switch, so check that one out there. There's loads of other types of relays as well, including latching relays, so you can make one massive hard drive if you really want, and I'm quite tempted, I've got to be honest. So the thing that I like about relays is, you know, for however simple they are in essence, you can actually make them do quite complicated things. If you gang a load of these things together, you can make them do, well, near enough whatever you want.
We should watch the video of Sam fixing
isn't something you're after.
I did not know
a relay as something that could turn something on and off, or 1 and 0, then basically you've got the building block and fundamentals of, you know, digital electronics. So let's start from the top, shall we? We've got a relay here. It's receiving 5 volts. This is a 5-volt relay. You can see it's a little bit of a funky one. And it's got a switch here. It breaks the contact between the 5 volts, the relay coil, and going to ground. So when I flick this, it'll do its relay thing. And there's a couple of LEDs connected to the actual switch to show you when the switch is changing its poles. This one has a normally open and normally closed light in that really big one. But if you look really closely, you'll see the connection actually being made. So this relay also has 2 separate switches, so we can wire in 2 isolated signal paths into either side of this thing as well. Ooh. So what happens if we send ground through the switch of the relay and then wire it into the actual relay itself? But then also connect the switch as well. So we'll make the switch do its initial contact, but it's also actually connecting to ground on the actual relay itself. So without this, we've got it normal. And if we put it to itself...
Sorry, relays are really rewarding. I have a solenoid and a relay in my room for bed purposes. That's not the right way to put it. For, oh yeah, it's a CO2 canister for my fish tank in the guild house. And when I turn it on and turn it off, it makes this loud, very satisfying click noise. It's so good.
If I flick this, it actually stays on. If I unconnect this again, it'll go back to normal. So when you push the switch, it completes the circuit, so it makes the coil flick down, and then this makes the switch actually push forwards. But because the ground is also connected there and there, it makes it latch on, and it stays on because it's making a complete connection when it's created. So we flick it over, it stays there. But if I make this connection to the normally closed side of the switch, you'll hear that it actually starts buzzing. That's because the mechanics in here are sort of making a feedback loop. I'm sending this to ground because it's made the connection with the normally closed, but the second you
it's not making a fun, it's not making a happy noise.
It turns itself off. And then you end up getting this sound right there. Obviously this is very quick and the delay is based on the actual mechanics inside the relay. But now if I add a really big capacitor into this circuit, you can actually slow this down. As you can see here, it's actually making a slower click. And that's because the capacitor is acting like a bit of a battery in here, and it's staying on for longer and, you know, keeping it at a constant rate. The problem with this is you see it's very unsymmetrical. And that's when we add 2 relays to the circuit. You get a much more symmetrical clock. And if we double the capacitance here, we'll actually get it twice as slow. So we'll double the capacitance. And now we made it twice as slow and it sounds like your car. Let's go back to the first circuit. It may not have been immediately obvious with this latching circuit, but basically here is pretty much 1 bit of memory, because this is 0. Imagine this is 1. It's now 1. And if we want to bring it back to 0, we break this connection here. And it's 0.
He's making, no, don't. No. He's making binary logic. Someone stop him. He's gonna make something Turing complete in a moment.
Here to actually break the ground from this, so we'll put this one over to the switch here, to the normally closed.
I've already forgotten we're supposed to be building with this. I don't even care. I like him. I like watching him play with a breadboard.
Into here. So the ground actually goes through this relay and into here. So now we have a set, and we can reset that. So now with 2 relays, you've basically got this. And you can keep on adding relays like this and adding complexity. For instance, if you only ever wanted this decision to be made on a clock pulse, well, all you do is you add another relay that isolates it when the clock isn't being sent in. and then you'll make it a synchronous latch. Relays have interested me no end ever since I ever really got into electronics, but I just didn't really,
The
it just didn't really
clicking
make sense.
continues
I've
to
got
be
honest.
good.
And then recently I was like, right, I'm going to make something with relays. I've always wanted to make something like a relay computer or a relay counter, but I'm struggling to find the applications and how much use they are to me for making a relay computer. You know, I just don't know what I'd use it for. I'd probably be building it purely for the sheer joy of it. I thought, wait a second, why don't we make a special type of relay computer? A relay computer that could be used in a musical application. And yeah, that's it, making a relay sequencer. I want
so
to, by the end of this, all make quite
all
an
I hear is just a
elaborate
lot of
sort of
clicking
performance
noises
sequencer,
that I
because
can
if you basically
expect.
take these fundamentals and just keep on building them, you can build all manner of parts of sequences. You can make an analog to digital converter, for instance. You can make the
Click, click,
sequence.
click, click,
You can
click,
even
click,
make
click,
memory
click,
for
click, click,
presets
click,
with
click,
these
click, click.
fundamentals. So for this past few days, I've been messing around with the fundamentals of making a, you know, a relay-based step sequencer. And this is currently where I'm at. And man, it looks
I can't even imagine. Also, that is a lot of breadboards. And why does he have it on Lego?
pretty cool. So a quick introduction into step sequencers, if you don't already know, are basically the most basic type of sequencer inside a synthesizer. In fact, one of the first electronic projects of mine was building a 4017 Baby 8 step sequencer, which is basically a
Help, I'm scared.
and I'm sure if you're into DIY synthesis, you've built something very similar. There's also a project that I made a couple of years ago called the keyboard sequencer, which is basically an Arduino version of the Baby 8 step sequencer with a few more bits of functionality. But the thing is, like building anything with
You need to
relays,
stop asking
you've
why
got
is
to go
X
down
on
to the
Y.
fundamentals of what is actually
Okay,
happening.
fair, you
and
caught
if you're
me.
interested in getting to the fundamentals
me.
of this, I did a video on the Museum of Everything Else YouTube channel about step sequencers a couple of weeks ago, and I basically spoke about things called flip-flops. These are the things that basically sit on your breadboard, they don't sit on your feet. And these flip-flops are also something that I spoke about in the SWTPC video a couple of weeks
This makes music. Context. This makes music. This absolutely.
ago, and these are pretty much the fundamentals of step sequencers. They're like a posh version of the set and reset kind of latch thing, and for building this sequencer I required a D-type flip-flop. That means there's an input that isn't set and reset, but the set and reset are in the same input, meaning if the voltage going into it is high, it sets it, and if the voltage going into it is low, it resets it. And if you're interested in seeing how D-type flip-flops work in sequencers, we'll go and check out the other video that I mentioned earlier, basically where I build a sequencer out of flip-flops. Each of these right here represent a step in the sequence. I tried to figure out the D-type flip-flop by myself, but I wasn't having much luck. It was going all over the place. But I found a really good video by Simon Winders, basically describing how a D-type flip-flop works with relays. And
Everything
this is basically
everything he continues to say just scares me more and more.
Also below. So if you're interested in the functioning of the D-type flip-flop, then I'd thoroughly recommend you looking further into that. But basically how these three relays work is these two are acting like these two relays right here, and then this one is saving the state of what is being put in it. But basically how the D-type flip-flop works is you send a signal in on the D input, which is this, which chooses whether it's going to set or reset, and then you send a clock impulse into there, and if you look here, I'll be able to write a bit onto this step. And if I take my finger off D and press the clock again, because there's no signal going into it, this will turn off. So I send the input high, it listens to it when I flick the clock, and it turns on. If I turn it off, it turns off. But the thing is, if you cascade flip-flops down, you can actually send that signal along. So for instance, I send this high and I put it into the clock. You see it's turned on. And now on the next clock hit, because this D-type flip-flop is actually listening to what the output of this is saying. So now this is high. So this is like my finger pushing down on this switch.
The amount of logic in
It actually
this is
listens
so
to that,
hard. Is
but
so.
this one's going 0. So this one turns off.
There's so much
and this
going
one turns
on.
And I push the clock again, and it cascades down to this one, and it cascades down to this one. And I don't need to push my finger down anymore because the bit is actually in it, and now it will keep on going around. And this is the fundamentals of the relay step sequencer. I've also added a reset button over here, so now I can reset it. This one right here amplifies the clock signal. I've currently got a BeatStep Pro coming into this, acting as the clock. So if I send the clock in, but there was a fundamental issue with writing in the bits doing this. The problem is if I am too slow with pushing the button, I can accidentally send 2 in, and I didn't want to send 2 in. I only want to send in 1. And if you don't flick it on the clock pulse, you don't actually get it. So you need to make another circuit, and that's the circuit over here, which actually writes in a bit into the sequence, but only ever writes 1 bit. So if I flick this, so now there is a bit of information in this relay circuit over here waiting to be sent into the sequence. So I'm going to push the sequence, and now it's sent that one in. And if I push this button any time, I can add an extra step, but I'll only ever be able to add 1 step. So if I push my finger down,
no,
it's only added 1 step in there.
Oh, that's nice.
I've been talking a lot about this on Builders Vlogs this past week over on my Patreon, and there's a couple of questions that came up, and that was, how quick can you make it go? Well, surprisingly quickly, actually. We'll give it a go right now. So it's clicking right now. Oh, it sounds so good. Let's slowly speed it up. I mean, I've actually maxed out the
clicky noises are good.
There we go, it topped out. It topped out at about 410 BPM. So you can actually make this go remarkably quickly, even though it is just mechanical relays. The other question that came up is this is really pushing the actual functionality of relays. Relays aren't supposed to be constantly turned on and turned off. They can wear out. But I've done a fair few tests on this, and they've proved to be quite good. For instance, I left it running like this for the best part of 10 hours, and this is still my test bed, and it's still actually amazingly working. So yes, the relays may break at some point, but they're not broken yet. This drawing right here is pretty confusing, I've got to be honest, but the only...
Oh yeah, like the breadboard diagram isn't already just confusing. I just...
way to understand it is to just stare at it for quite a while until it starts making sense. These red boxes right here represent different relays. This square right here is the electromagnetic coil. That's the thing that if you send signal in, it actually makes these switches do their thing. Inside each of the relays, there are also 2 switches. This side is the normally closed side, and this side is the normally open side. This may seem a little bit backwards if you know about relays to other relays. However, I'm using Omron relays, where actually the normally closed is
really
this side, and the
best
normally
for you,
open is
Alma,
this
you
side.
know it. Oh,
Sometimes
thank
they're
you.
around the other way in relays. So this first drawing is looking at Simon Winder's D.
It makes my head hurt in like a fun way.
Video because I don't think I'm going to be able to eloquently put it like he put it. So I've brought this back again to show you a bit that I sort of forgot about. There's quite a funky implementation in stuff like relay clocks and relay computers and stuff like that. So the thing is, if you wire it up slightly differently and make the most of this mechanical delay, and this is shown by this LED right here. You can see I've made this LED basically do a clock pulse, and this is what's inside relay debouncing circuits as well. But this is working on the fact that it takes a little bit of time from the normally closed and the center of the switch to actually deactivate from each other. So you end up getting this tiny little pulse, and you can make the most of this tiny little pulse to actually make these flip-flops.
Fry your brain Friday.
So this relay, for instance, it receives a clock and it
I
goes
might
into the
do
coil.
those.
When the clock
We might
hits,
do one of those
this
one of these
actually breaks
days.
the contact onto the next clock. So this clock only receives ground for a tiny little bit
That sounds
of
like
time
such a
before
delight.
The actual clock flicks over and it actually disengages this. The thing is, if you don't do this, it'll actually act like an oscillator and it'll go bzzz. You don't want that. You want to be able to save it. And this is the memory relay right here. And this latches on and off depending whether you want to save a bit in or you don't want to save a bit in. This extra relay actually acts as something that amplifies the amount of switch contacts. So it doesn't actually do much more than give you more kind of functionality to this basic circuit. So depending how many steps you want your relay sequencer to have, you build this circuit that many times. Basically what you do is this Q is the carry out and this D is the input. This reads it from the last step and the Q writes it to the next step. This is another part to the step sequencer that is actually similar to the circuit that I made.
Rose, I think
digital logic.
Rose, this is frying my brain. I can't. I can't. My brain is gone. I don't mean that to be rude. I'm just like, I want something. I apologize. This is almost too brain for me. I want to do something stupid. I want to reward everybody with something at least just a little bit stupid. You know what? Let's watch a stupid. I think everyone deserves it. You broke me. You did it. Look, here's a stupid video, and I love it. So, this is from Lewis Weiss. I should probably subscribe. And it is entitled, Risking My Life to Beat a Speed Record. I wonder what the speed record is.
We're going to be attempting a land speed record in the most ridiculous vehicle imaginable, and since we'll be doing it during Speed Week at the Bonneville Salt Flats in Utah, we're going to have to take our wagon from this to this in under 7 days.
See, now we're talking.
Here's the backstory. The existing record for fastest radio flyer wagon is 30 miles an hour, but if you ask me, that record is garbage and should be thrown out like the trash it is, because it doesn't even use an actual wagon. Like, look at this thing. That's not a radio flyer wagon.
I feel like the bullshit part is that... Hold on, wait.
Like,
you're telling me that this can only go 30 miles an hour when it's crafted like this? Why can this only go 30 miles an hour?
look at this thing. That's not a radio flyer wagon. That's a glorified go-kart.
You do know that record was for charity.
Oh. Well, the children deserve better. Look, of course you're gonna have to make some changes, but the only changes should be additions, not subtractions. I'll obviously have to add a motor, but the body, wheels, and axles should all stay the same. At least that was what I wanted to do, but some of the people in the Discord weren't so sure this wagon could handle it.
Oh, yeah, the steering's not that bad. And this is a legit radio flyer wagon. Like, this is what the current ones look like, so. Hold up, this is actually way better. I actually fit right in here. I don't know what's up with this guy. Who puts the like tiny ones on there? This is way better.
We hooked this up to a 2x4 hanging off the back of my buddy Ross's car to test whether the wagon would get speed wobbles or if the wheels would like fly apart at high speed.
Let's try it. Let's just take it to 25. Let's keep it chill.
This is such a
I'll let
great
you know if something sketchy starts happening.
the spiritual video to the Answers in Progress inventing the
It's
wheel
all
video.
good.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's rock steady.
We have I think we have another Answers in Progress
Stop,
anyway.
Stop.
On the way.
All right, next test, me in the back seat. Just kidding, we're not doing that yet. There's no chance, not yet.
Because of their small diameter, at 40 miles an hour, these wheels will be spinning at over 1,000 RPM. So before I could get in this thing, I needed to run some tests with my good friend Stumpy.
It's good.
Nope, there.
How do the
Nope.
wheels
Bye,
look?
Stumpy.
Little minor road rash. I'm sure he got dirty.
Stumpy's
He's
dead.
been dunked in a f***ing river. He's gonna get dirty.
I think we're totally gonna be able to run this thing stock, dude.
It is so much more stable than I think anybody could have anticipated.
With these promising test results, I felt confident enough to start ordering parts a month in advance to the King of Random House in Utah, which was generously lent to us as a base of operations for our record attempt. And while I'm placing an order for a $4,000 turbojet engine, I just want to thank Current for sponsoring this video, and more importantly, this purchase.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Obviously, this video is starting to get really expensive. I've been telling people for months that I'm not making any money on this video, and that is still true. But as a kid who grew up watching Mythbusters, I really don't care. I've always wanted to do insane projects like this, and Current was on board to help me make it possible. Look, I could bore you with all the fancy features, but it's really pretty simple. Current is banking all on your phone, with great cash back, tools to help you save, and no hidden fees or BS. So hit my link in the description to go check it out. And after you sign up, go comment your current tag on my latest Instagram post, where I'll randomly send one of you $100 just for checking it out, to give you a little shove to help make your dreams come true. Or buy $100 worth of fruities. Like, I don't care, it's your money. Just like the big dogs, I wanted to run my wagon during Speed Week, when all the fastest cars in the world come out to attempt speed records. So in early August, I flew myself out to Utah, and when I realized that attempting this alone would be absolutely insane, I also flew out my buddy Joel Creates to help me.
I'm here to collaborate with the greatest YouTuber ever, Lewis Weiss.
Before we did anything else, we headed out to the flats for the first day of Speed Week to check out the terrain and rendezvous with my friend Steve, who was going to be there racing his truck.
You're saying that the previous record was like 152, and you guys
that's
hit,
our
like,
record.
That's your record.
152 is our record.
Okay, so now 164.
There's no way our wagon was going to pass a safety inspection, but we needed the prepared, extra smooth surface that Speed Week uses to make our runs possible. So our plan was to run it exactly one day after the official event to give us the best possible surface without any red tape to worry about.
Not getting
Of course,
illegal.
after
Let's
spending
go.
our first day out on the flats,
Not
we
getting
only
in
had 5
trouble.
more to get this thing from bare parts to functional vehicle. So we headed back.
Also, hey, did you see that? Hold on, where is it? Did you see that detail? Hold on, wait, let me find it. Yeah, right there. LTT store water bottle. LTTstore.com. Sorry, I needed to drink water.
So we headed back to the house a little early to give ourselves a head start. Well, I mean, the one thing I think we could build today is I think we should build a wagon.
Oh.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, we're idiots, dude. This says all-terrain cargo wagon. So does this one. Bruh. All right. That's not a great start to this.
I'm gonna hop on Craigslist.
I placed 2 separate orders, 2 of them, for Amazon listings of this wagon, so that even if something was wrong with one, we'd have the other to fall back on. And yet, that's garbage. Why don't we just start calling up stores? Hey there, I'm trying to get a radio flyer wagon, like, ASAP. We are literally in Utah. The clock is ticking down, and without a wagon, we literally can't make progress.
That is in no way worth 325 bones.
We had to find one ASAP in drivable condition, or this whole thing was gonna be a bust.
Okay, so we found a lady with a radio flyer wagon for 50 bucks. So we are starting the day, but getting up, heading 55 minutes, and then immediately turning around and going back. Woohoo!
The vintage wagon we found wasn't perfect, but it was the right size. So we came up with a plan to use this as a prototype while we ordered a brand new one with the fastest possible shipping, which we'd use for the final test.
They're in
Armed
fact
with that knowledge, we started shopping
retrofitting
for
this
the
thing.
pieces we'd need for our mount. We hit the hardware store for fasteners, a metal supplier for specialty parts, and a local hobby shop for a battery charger, where we first ran into Jason.
We have a turbine.
We're running a small jet turbine.
Okay.
We didn't know it yet, but that accidental meeting would become one of the most important things we did all week, because Jason was about to become an indispensable part of our land speed record team. But for the time being, we were focused on building the mount. Mount this to the wagon and then start mounting things to it.
Considering that when we mount things to it, we're mounting them to both, it might make sense to pin it down somehow. Maybe the way to do that is just do the 4 corners for now.
That makes sense to me. Dude, that looks so sick. Just look at this thing, that's insane. Oh, I'm terrified already. All right.
You know what else this aluminum is good for? Protecting your if this blows up.
I'm glad that you're concerned about the safety of my butt.
I think a lot about it.
Huh?
What?
With the motor securely mounted to the chassis, it was time for a bench test. So we filled up the tank with gas, we plugged in the battery, and...
Like, how certain were you that this was the right orientation?
What do you mean, how certain?
I am 90% certain that that is the right orientation.
Since we didn't get anything, let's double check our connections, or that there's some sort of startup thing we need to do, like hitting a button.
Is this a button? No. Are the connections like high resistance or something? Is there like
Danger.
Should we call our RC man? Do you think it's worth it?
If you
I feel like they should have tested the electronics before putting gasoline into the jet engine.
want,
Just
you
thinking.
can call them, and then I'll glance over the manual just to see if I see
You
anything.
take a look at the manual real quick. I didn't see anything. Hey there, is Jason in today?
He is.
Hey Jason, this is Lewis. We're the guys with the turbine from yesterday.
Yeah.
We can't figure out how to get the receiver to turn on. If we brought this thing over to the shop, would you be able to just sort of help us maybe troubleshoot some basic stuff, figure out what might be wrong with it?
Yeah, I sure can.
All right, Jason.
Work your magic. This isn't turning on. We don't know if it needs an additional signal besides just power to turn on. I don't think regular RC planes have thermocouple input. Okay, there we go. There we go.
Hey, okay, so we do need this.
Okay.
Where do we buy one of those?
Right here.
Awesome.
Jason, the absolute legend, managed to get this thing working in 2 seconds flat.
Also, a massive shout out, Jason.
You're welcome.
Homie, Canyon Hobbies.
It turned out
Hobby shop's cool, by the way. I wish I could go to one.
we just needed a transmitter battery, which we bought, plugged in, and filled up our fuel tank for a fresh attempt.
So what could blow up?
Literally everything.
Oh, the truck. We gotta move the truck.
What? No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
What's it gonna do?
It might melt it.
No!
I'm gonna look at that. You just don't blow yourself up.
So first it has to ignite.
It'll stabilize at about 30,000 RPM, I believe. What? That's only 10%?
We're only 10% there.
Stage 2?
Oh yeah, I'm lowering the volume now because it gets really goddamn loud. It's like a 5%, so high pitched.
That was insane.
It hurt my own ears when I originally watched this for the first time.
The neighbors are all.
Great news, the motor works, but as of now, this thing still has no steering, and that desperately needs to change.
We're gonna be going highway plus speeds with this for, you know, at least relative to what it's supposed to do.
How do you feel?
Just, you can feel like if you put too much with one foot, it's flexing the steel. It's pretty straight.
Pretty straight.
We don't care about 5 feet at 1 mile an hour.
You're right. Whee! Now that's steering. With a functional but limited steering system, a shroud to protect the motor from debris, and a full race suit to protect me in the case of a crash, we were ready to give this thing a first low-speed run.
Holy shit, dude. Now we're trying to hit 88 miles an hour. Holy shit! This thing is gonna fly, dude! Whoa, buddy! Dude, that was so fast! Woohoo!
I love how simple and stupid things can really be.
It's actually
All you need to do is just, like, this is almost like my childhood dreams. A little bit. I always wanted to go fast on, like, a radio flyer when I was a kid. I don't think I wanted to go this fast or this intense, but, you know, wishful thinking, I guess.
This thing is gonna fly, dude! Whoa, buddy! Dude, that was so fast! Woohoo! Yeah!
You had weird
It
childhood
worked.
dreams?
It's actually really.
I don't think I did. Going fast? That's a pretty normal
You
dream.
have to give it at least like a solid amount of
You
throttle
gotta
to get
overcome
moving.
the
I hope.
actual, yeah.
Dude, I mean, did you see the amount of like freaking dust
I
and
felt
shit?
it. When it kicks up, you're like, whoa!
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome! We're totally gonna do it.
Dude, we're gonna do it.
It's gonna work.
This is on a-
Yeah, dude.
This is a 50-year-old wagon.
The wheels turned, the wagon drove. We just needed to finish up some final touches and we'd be good to go for a Saturday launch, except for one slight issue.
Tell me what's going on, Joel.
We thought that with this wagon, the reason that the wheels were a little wiggly was because they're just sliding side to side. That's not the case. They're actually wobbling because they're bent. At this speed, you can see it very obviously. Now imagine it spinning 100 times.
Alma may give a 5-second Twitter
wheels
thing.
would work, and the
Absolutely.
new wagon we ordered
Post it in the
still wasn't
Discord
here,
so
but
it
we
doesn't open
needed
up in
those wheels for
OBS's
this
web
run.
browser.
By some divine providence, I actually found a set.
Guess what?
Oh boy.
Brand new in-box radio flyer wagon some lady ordered, didn't want 3 days ago in Orem, Utah, half an hour from here.
Really?
Yes!
How'd you find it?
KSL.
Oh my gosh.
Pulling everything together at the last minute, we just didn't have time to swap everything over. So instead, we took the new wheels and axles and put them on the vintage wagon's body.
This feels sturdy now, you know?
Once the wagon was finally completed, we realized it literally wouldn't fit in the car we had. So Jason came through a third time, offering to come out and help us with his truck to bring ourselves, our wagon, and all our gear out to the flats for our date
Jason's
with
such a
Destiny,
wild
Saturday,
chat.
August
Like,
11th. Our goal is to hit
just-
at least clear 30 miles an hour.
he's just a wild Chad.
How many runs we're gonna
It's
get?
so good.
just-
I want art of me looking exactly like this.
3, 2, 1. That's 32 miles an hour!
30 miles an hour in a real shitty
Faster than that, hopefully.
wagon.
That wobble you had, it looked, I was a little concerned.
It wasn't wobble, it was steering. A little bit of steer. Guy wants to steer a lot.
I'm gonna get her queued up.
3, 2, 1.
Speed. so scared. I want to see this guy go faster. Oh my god, 43?
I bet he hit 45 right there.
It's going faster.
Now, I don't know about you people, but I'm pretty sure I just read 45 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Hell yeah!
And your wheel fell off, and you're leaking fluid everywhere.
Oh, get off, get off, get off.
No, hello.
Your wheel came completely off. There's fluid everywhere, dude.
Okay,
Hello, 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 everybody. Nice to see you guys. Thank you for the
I
raid.
call that a dub, man. Holy sh.
So we're
My name, of course, is Alma Hexblade, head guildmaster, chief barista of Books and Brews. Everybody take a seat. You came in just at the right time for watching stuff. Oh, Evans Gamma, thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follows, guys. Enjoy your complimentary drinks and have a wonderful rest of your day. I have no idea why the follows and stuff are broken. I did just recently update to Windows. Or I did recently update to the latest Windows and everything's broken. Cybernetic Violet, thank you for the follow. Yay. Y'all enjoy your complimentary drinks and have a wonderful rest of your night. We're going to be watching more videos. We were watching a silly guy attaching a jet engine to a radio flyer, and managed to get, what, 45 miles an hour on it so far?
We're gonna Frankenstein this guy, and we're gonna take these off-road.
And I want to see how fast he goes.
And see what we can do.
I want to ride this.
You're good. Yeah! What'd you get?
53.
What?
Fast.
Oh, let's go, Joel!
Speed.
53.
53?
I knew you were booking it, dude.
Oh, dude, did you see how bad it was?
Dude, that was insanity.
That was such a rush.
That was so awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Oh yeah, and if you want to try to bake the record,
Look how
guest.
durable this stupid thing is now, and I can't wait for it. I love this man's channel. He does make silly content. All right. We are skipping from very dangerous things to warnings about dangerous things that could have killed you. This is from This Exists. It's a very old channel. I believe I've seen this a bunch of times. Someone posted in my Discord a video about a very odd... Oh, Lunar posted it. It was a British PSA about dark water. And I wanted to show a video that had like a bigger compilation. Just I guess as a content warning, it does have kids kind of dying in like very bad 80s ways, and they're kind of cheesy, but like if you don't like those types of things, you should probably look away for a little bit. Just like 5 minutes, okay? Cool.
Second World War, the British government started producing informative short films, advising children on everything from swimming safety to how to not get run over by a tractor. Stay the hell away from the farm, kiddies.
Just gone.
The British government's Central Office of Information was clearly filled with some nasty dudes back in the day, because it is hard to imagine someone greenlighting a film like Apache's with taxpayer money.
Ah! Ah! Daddy! Daddy!
And he's just...
Daddy! Daddy!
He's just gone.
But they did.
Man's just gone.
The COI produced tons of public information films. So why? Why send so many innocent children to their deaths? Like, every kid in this movie dies.
Freeze! Someone look out! Ah!
Boom. Kid's dead.
This is maybe the most famous public information film. The British equivalent of a PSA, for those of you who grew up in North America. Like
Also, hold on. I'm just
here in
testing
Ontario,
the alerts. I
we
don't
had a
know why they're
robot
broken.
telling us not to cut off
There we
our
go.
limbs,
That's
but it
cool.
wasn't scary.
I am Astar, a robot. I can put my arm back on. You can't. So play safe.
At worst, the PSAs
Okay.
of my childhood were just monstrously goofy.
Don't you put it in your mouth. Don't you put it in your mouth. Don't you stuff it in your face. Don't stuff it in your face.
But the English are a different sick breed. I mean, any culture that prizes tea over coffee is obviously a little off, but that hardly compares to making a public safety video so gruesome that your own government bans it for 20 years.
Oh God, not that PSA. You know the PSA. Just.
That's the grim conclusion of The Finishing Line, a short film about not getting killed by a train. As British public information films go, it's pretty standard, slow, eerie, violent as hell, and also the plot is insane. It's basically the Hunger Games, but with an adult making children play around train tracks that keep murdering them.
Each of the 4 teams competing starts here. They have to run up to the fence, break a hole big enough to get all the team through, then they must run down the embankment, across the rails, and up the other side past the finishing line.
Especially in the 70s and 80s, British public information films really looked like horror and exploitation films. This is the non-banned train danger movie, Robbie.
Why are these movies? Oh.
I mean,
there goes the
seriously,
kid.
That's basically a 70s horror movie that you'd expect to see dropped into the 3 a.m. slot of Fear Fest. But I will be much more careful around trains now. But what about water? Could water kill me?
Oh, here it is.
Hidden depths. It's the perfect place for an accident.
Oh, look, there's someone in the water. Quick, use that big stick to get him out.
Sensible children. I have no power over them.
The spirit of dark and lonely water is my personal favorite PIF. Apparently the children were not told what kind of movie they were acting in and just spent the day frolicking around by the lake. Like they never saw the guy dressed as Death following them around everywhere. It's very proto Final Destination.
That was weird.
Not every
And
one of these films
not
was directed
cool,
at
kind of.
children, though. Keep in mind, in the 70s, there was a lot of time to kill on British public television. And so the parents, they got a taste too.
Fire can break out at any time. This Christmas, don't leave your children alone in the house.
The COI was closed in 2012.
Okay.
But they enjoyed a good run as basically the British government equivalent of J. Walter Weatherman.
Did that man's arm get cut off?
You don't yell.
Even though there's
no,
less
that's
of a need to fill time on television or wheel in a 16mm projector to entertain/terrify a classroom, the influence of these original public information films lives on. Unlike the children who starred in them, who never live on. Ever.
They'll die. Oh my God, really? No. Jimmy's beef jerky.
What do you think? Are British public information films extra weird and violent? Did you grow up watching these or other strange PSA type films? Let us know in the comments and be sure to subscribe for new episodes of This Exists every week.
And then he stopped making the videos. But
all of those films are up on YouTube and they're really worth watching in their entirety, especially the super long, dreamy, eerie ones like Apache's. They're very 420 friendly. Be excellent to each other.
yeah, he did in fact just say it like that, yeah. I don't want to show... actually, no, screw it. I have Dark and Lonely Water right here, so we can watch it. It's just kind of just like... I have not seen it personally. I have not seen it, so we can watch this together. So, you know, let's try it.
I am the spirit of dark and lonely water, ready to trap the unwary, the show-off, the fool. And this is the kind of place you'd expect to find me. But no one expects to find me here. It seems too ordinary.
Why are you
that
kids?
Pool is deep. The boy is showing off.
Why are you
Bank is
kids
slippery.
playing in a construction yard?
The show-offs are easy. But the unwary ones are easier still. This branch is weak, rotten. It'll never take his way.
Bye.
Only a fool would ignore this. But there's one born every minute. Under the water there are traps. Old cars, bedsteads, weeds, hidden depths.
1970s Britain was weird, man.
It's the perfect place.
Post-war Britons.
Oh, look, there's someone in the water.
Oh, look, there's someone in the water.
Sensible children. I have no power over them.
He just disappears.
Oi, mate, that's a stupid place to swim. Hey,
Oi, mate, that's a stupid place to swim. No, like, there's so much stuff here. I'm worried I would get, like, tetanus from stepping on the ground, let alone drowning in the water. There's, like, several degrees of failure in this.
you go over and get that thing to wrap him in. You don't have to feel cold, mate. How long was you in there? Ew, what thing?
I'll be back.
Wait, that was it? That was it? What? PSAs have, like, messages at the end? This was just a creepy pasta. Like, what? Okay. We are nearing our end, so we got a couple videos here. Let me see. Yeah, about 20 minutes. So let's wrap up these. Apparently there was still a lot of wreckage from UK about post-World War II. Oh, that makes sense. So that's why there's so much, like, rusted metal and stuff? Huh. Also, at the same time, don't teach your kids to touch rusted, broken objects? I don't know. I mean, not going into water that is, you know, dark and lonely is kind of important as well, but there are a lot of life lessons there. At least it ain't as bad as electric scooter PSA. I can only assume the electric scooter PSA is, please throw the electric scooters into the river. The river is hungry. We're talking about the same type of electric scooters, right? Like the lime ones, the ones that everybody hates and wants to kind of just, like, dunk into the trash can. We're talking about that one, right? Oh, I read scooter as soccer. I misread that wrong. I read scooter from soccer. Hold on. What in the world is the electric soccer PSA? I'm scared now. Is this gonna give me a result? Oh no.
Yeah, look. Tom's had a go at this. Look, over there, there's a football. Oh, yeah.
Bro, the sign says next to it, you're gonna die.
That's for fighting little kids. You're right if you don't touch anything. I've seen people working up there. Yeah, well, I don't particularly want to mess around with this type of stuff.
Bro.
You're just scared of getting caught.
Bro. The increasing music in the background is terrifying me. Bro. What the fuck? Man's toasted. Both kids are toasted.
Stay safe. Stay.
Oh God.
Don't take a chance with electricity.
Why do we have these PSAs now? It would prevent people from doing the stupid phone charger challenge on TikTok. Ah! Why? Ah! We need to bring these back. Okay. We'll be... the last two videos for today are chiller. Don't worry. One of them is about aesthetic. And an explosion at a warehouse. But first, let's go through the aesthetic one. Aesthetic. This was also on Twitter recently, if you were looking to it. The title for this one is called The 2000s Aesthetic That You Definitely Recognize. It's called Frutiger Arrow. Also probably should subscribe to this channel. Anyway.
Do any of these pictures feel familiar to you? Do they remind you of something that you just can't put your finger on? Do they make you feel nostalgic or reminiscent of something? Do they give you a sense of hope and optimism?
Why is there so much water?
You're not alone. All these pictures are examples of a once ubiquitous, yet relatively unknown aesthetic called Frutiger Arrow. Frutiger Arrow is a design aesthetic popular during the mid-2000s to the early 2010s. The Frutiger Arrow aesthetic is characterized by its glossy design, tertiary color palettes, Frutiger humanist sans serif fonts, glass, bubbles, auroras, bokeh, and its use of grass and nature. These interesting design elements all come together to create a rather distinct and, in my opinion, pleasant aesthetic. Frutiger Arrow was most prevalent in branding, user interface design, product design, advertising, and pretty much everything quote-unquote corporate during this era. Just as the wave of minimalism struck every single business over the past 5 years, so too Frutiger Arrow was adopted by pretty much every company from around 2004 to 2011. Another aspect of Frutiger Arrow is skeuomorphism, which is a user interface design featuring UI elements that mimic physical objects. Think iOS 5 or Android Jelly Bean. Technically, skeuomorphism is a separate aesthetic from Frutiger Arrow, but the two are often intertwined and can go hand in hand. But there's a difference. Skeuomorphism is a term strictly used for technological, web, or user interface design. Frutiger Arrow, on the other hand, is not limited to just tech and UI design, but can be used in other ways, such as the packaging of this soap bottle or this promotional poster.
Do you remember this? I remember
simply,
all this.
Most skeuomorphism is also Frutiger Arrow, but not everything Frutiger Arrow is skeuomorphism. For example, these naturescapes are classic Frutiger Arrow.
Wow.
They use realistic textures and real-world objects, but because they're not in a user interface setting, they're not skeuomorphic. But if you applied that realism and texture to a user interface, then it would be skeuomorphism. If you're still confused, think of the glossy 3D design popular in the mid-2000s as an umbrella category, with Frutiger Arrow and skeuomorphism falling under that umbrella. Another important component of Frutiger Arrow is its utilization of something called humanism, which in design is the concept of creating something to be relatable and accessible to the most amount of people possible. It is likened to, quote-unquote,
am I right,
casting a wide net that embraces all humans. In the case of Frutiger Arrow, humanism is demonstrated by the use of nature, people, and other real-world items to provide a sense of
bring this
familiarity
back,
and
honestly.
ease to its viewers. This was especially important regarding the user interface aspect of Frutiger Arrow. See, by the 2000s, many people were already familiar with smart technology and the internet, but there were still plenty of non-techie people who were confused and overwhelmed by it. Frutiger Arrow and skeuomorphism used humanism to make it easier for less tech-savvy people to become comfortable with the new, rapidly evolving technology by letting them interact with familiar items and scenes before transitioning them to the more abstract tech landscape that we see today, which would have overwhelmed and put off many consumers back in the 2000s.
This already off-puts me
today. The Wii
today.
is a great example of a product that used humanism via Frutiger Arrow to boost its accessibility to the masses. Another example is how humanism is often used in the branding of technology made for seniors, where packaging and software often use people and nature to
I never
try to
thought
make
about
things
this.
feel more natural and appealing.
But that
So
part
yes,
makes sense
Frutiger
now.
Arrow seemed like an effort to get non-tech savvy people comfortable with technology, using humanism to make things more appealing and accessible. And it kind of worked. Thanks to Frutiger Arrow, many people who were weary or confused by technology started to give it a try and ended up getting used to it. Now that most people were on board, Frutiger Arrow could transition into the more minimalistic,
There it is.
utilitarian
Yeah.
interfaces and branding that we see today. And while it's easy to dive deep into an analysis on Fruitigo Aero,
it was the aesthetic of Vista. Oh, nostalgic. I hated Vista.
Aero, humanism, and its true motives, it's still just a design aesthetic, and most of the reason why it was used is simply because it was a popular style at the time, just like in every decade. Now that you're familiar with the aesthetic, here's some examples of Fruitigo Aero in use.
Oh, firm. Nostalgic. Lots of I remember doing this design when I was younger and doing a lot of graphic design. Now that I look back on it, it was pretty cringe, but at the same time, I'm kind of glad I learned about it. But boy, it looks so inviting in early 2000s.
Some other examples
Bring
of
it back.
Fruitigo Aero are the Galaxy S4 user interface and marketing, which also seeps of humanism, by the way.
That wallpaper.
Fruitigo Aero is also used in many company logos, like the AT&T logo, product packaging and branding, such as Pure Life Water, and corporate graphics, like this. A similar aesthetic to Fruitigo Aero, or rather its predecessor, is the Y2K tech/futurism aesthetic of the late 90s. In fact, it's believed that Fruitigo Aero is the direct successor of this aesthetic, using the same futuristic, technological, and visionary tones, as well as the shiny and realistic textures.
Oh, hell yeah.
Another similar aesthetic to Fruitigo Aero, if not a branch of it, is Funky Seasons, a marketing design technique where Fruitigo Aero is utilized in conjunction with multicolored products or items, also popular in the mid-2000s and the early 2010s.
I also didn't know
Some examples of Funky Seasons are...
I did not know that Funky Seasons is an aesthetic name. That one's wild.
Are the colorful iPod Nanos, the iPhone 5Cs, and the iPod and iTunes branding. Some sources say that Funky Seasons is a separate aesthetic, but I personally think that it's just a branch of Fruitigo Aero. Now, despite all the pleasant things about Fruitigo Aero, there is a sort of dark irony about it as well. See, Fruitigo Aero promised us this utopic future, all while serving as a tool that helped us get to this less than utopic reality. By helping transition people into the world of technology, Fruitigo Aero had an accidental role in bringing us to the state of big tech monopolies, censorship, surveillance, and digital psychosis.
We're in hell world
It ended
now.
up leading us to the exact opposite of the future that it hoped we would have. The fact that we are currently living in the quote-unquote future that Fruitigo Aero conceptualized, and the fact that it's not at all what the aesthetic made it out to be, is just another layer of icing on the future! And it's true that if it weren't for Fruitigo Aero, we probably wouldn't be as technologically dependent as we are today. But overall, Fruitigo Aero did much more to evolve humanity than to decline it. Because although there are many downsides that come along with technology, it still improved our quality of life and changed the world for the good. And at the end of the day, we have to remember that it's just a graphic design style. It's really not that deep. On a completely different note, there seems to be a surprisingly little amount of information about Fruitigo Aero, which is rather strange considering how popular of an aesthetic it is. Perhaps it's sort of a tough aesthetic to define, or maybe it's become so unanimous that people just got used to it and don't really even see it as an aesthetic. Either way, I've actually loved the Fruitigo Aero aesthetic for a long time, but I didn't know it was actually a real thing, or let alone that it had a name, until I stumbled upon the Fruitigo Aero subreddit and realized that it was an actual aesthetic. There's a Fruitigo Aero page on the Aesthetics Fandom Wiki, a Fruitigo Aero subreddit, and a Fruitigo Aero Facebook group.
Now this is the
for
content.
some reason. But besides that, there really isn't much else about the aesthetic online. However, if you keep your eyes peeled, you'll be able to spot tons of Fruitigo Aero examples in your daily life. Because even though its prime days ended in the early mid-2010s, you can still find tons of remnants of it today. It still sometimes appears on signs, stores, web graphics, marketing, branding, and logos that were made back when Fruitigo Aero was popular. Some user interfaces also still utilize this aesthetic as well. Personally, Fruitigo Aero is one of my all-time favorite design aesthetics. Its bright and optimistic tones give it a sense of visionary inspiration. Its utilization of humanism makes it feel pleasant and familiar. And of course, its nostalgia factor makes it such an endearing reminder of simpler times. Fruitigo Aero is peculiar and wonderful in that it seems to be reminding us of a familiar past, yet also hinting us toward an optimistic, almost utopic future. In this way, Frutiger Aero is possibly a reflection of the collective excitement people held in the 2000s for what the 21st century would have in store. And the fact that the aesthetic was so widely used, yet so unacknowledged, adds a slightly uncanny feeling to the mix. Similarly, the fact that we are currently living in the world that Frutiger Aero was pointing towards, and the fact that it's not at all what the aesthetic hoped it would be, adds a twinge of cynicism to contrast the innocence and optimism that the aesthetic portrays. No matter what you think of it, it's safe to say that Frutiger Aero is one of the most intriguing and inspiring design aesthetics to date, and it will always have a soft spot in my heart. Wait! The video's not over yet! As I was editing this video, I noticed some things that I wanted to clarify. First, I want to say that although it's common for Frutiger Aero UIs to be skeuomorphic, it's not always the case. Some are just plain Frutiger Aero. Second, I forgot to mention
I didn't realize the
PS3
PS3 one
and
was.
geometric designs are also a characteristic of Frutiger Aero. Also,
I miss
as
those
you
floral
probably noticed, Frutiger Aero is a broad aesthetic, ranging from stock pictures to technology to interior design to branding to user interfaces, and each of those could probably be their own specific aesthetics, but in the video I included them all as broadly Frutiger Aero. One more thing I want to mention is that I was all over the place with
I'm more of a new
pronunciation of
Christmas
Frutiger
enjoyer.
Aero. I think I said Frutigo Aero at one point in the video. It's kind of a mouthful.
Brandon, I understand you, but at the same time, tell me what in the world the name is for the weird-looking hamburger menu.
I did mess up a few times, but to clarify, it's pronounced Frutiger Aero. I
Don't.
think some people say Frutiger Aero
And
as
don't.
well, but when I looked it up,
What do
the
you mean?
European pronunciation.
Hold on, I'll show you. What is this supposed to be? That's a hamburger. Wait, I don't know what I never knew what these, like, this? I've never known that, like, I also did not know that this was named a doner menu, bento, kebab, and meatballs. Also because I just, like, what do these symbols mean, you know? Like, I understand them now, but, like, when I look at these initially, I'm like, what in the world do these, you know? Some of them are just funky, you know? They're all food related. Anyway. The aesthetics makes me want to Roblox. Oof.
Which is where the word originated, is with a gur, not jur, so I just went with that. Also, please note that a lot of the information here was just my opinion and my take. Just want to put a little disclaimer in there. Don't take everything I said as 100%.
It's pretty, you're right.
Anyway, thank you.
Violet, hello!
You learned
How are you?
Alright. We are at the last video of today. I'm very sorry about that, but hey, I gotta sleep. We're gonna end it off on a bang, and I don't mean that because it was a video about an explosion. This one is from the United States Chemical Safety and Hazard Investigation Board. They always make really interesting videos about incidents that happen, and honestly, it's like true crime, but like... It's like true crime, but also important, and safety, and relevant to people's everyday lives. It's very important. And also, they're just really well made, and they keep you interested, even if you don't know the topic, you know? Tonight, we're ending tonight with a bang. Drops frozen turkey to deep fryer. I would never... if only I streamed on Thanksgiving, I would have made that joke. Alright, let's just end it here. It's a good video. I promise. It's interesting even if you have no knowledge about the topic.
April 3rd, 2017. The Loy Lang Box Company of St. Louis, Missouri. One worker and 3 members of the public were fatally injured when a pressure vessel catastrophically failed, causing an explosion that launched the pressure vessel into a neighboring building. The Chemical Safety Board investigated and found that over the course of many years, an area of the failed pressure vessel had thinned due to a known corrosion mechanism that was poorly controlled at the facility. And the CSB found that Loy Lang repeatedly ignored clear warnings that corrosion was causing major problems within its operations. In fact, prior to its failure, Loy Lang ran the pressure vessel normally, despite knowing that it was leaking. It was a safety emergency that unfolded in plain sight.
Also, honestly, kind of terrifying with the real
resulted
footage.
From a tragic series of circumstances: ineffective corrosion management, inadequate pressure vessel repair, a lack of inspections, and the absence of sound safety management systems. The result of those factors was that a severely corroded pressure vessel, which presented a serious safety hazard, was allowed to operate until it ultimately failed, resulting in the death of 4 people.
Like these are more important safety
manufactured
PSAs,
corrugated cardboard, which is used to make other products such as boxes and retail displays. Part of the process to make corrugated cardboard involved heating paper using a steam generation system. The steam generation system used municipal water. The water was fed into a vessel called the makeup tank. There, the water was treated with chemicals and heated to approximately 200 degrees Fahrenheit to remove dissolved gases, including oxygen. This was necessary because oxygenated water is corrosive to steel equipment. The water then flowed from the makeup tank into a larger pressure vessel called the semi-closed receiver, or SCR. The SCR was comprised of a cylindrical center and 2 end pieces called heads. All 3 sections of the SCR were made of steel and susceptible to oxygen corrosion. The SCR was kept under pressure so that the water inside would retain more heat than it could at atmospheric pressure. From the SCR, the water was pumped to a generator that converted it to steam, which was used to heat the paper. The steam then cooled, condensed back into water, and flowed again into the SCR. At the end of the workday, Loy Lang operators shut down the steam generation system, leaving the SCR filled with warm water. At the beginning of the next workday, operators would restart the steam generation system. During the daily startup, operators would initially block the flow of water into the SCR from both the makeup tank and from the condensed steam returning from the corrugation process. At the same time, the water remaining in the SCR from the previous workday was pumped to the steam generator. As a result, the water level inside the SCR would drop from its normal height of about 14 feet to about 2 feet. When the SCR was nearly empty, operators would then allow water to flow into it from the makeup tank. Loy Lang's steam system was used to heat the water in the makeup tank. But at this point in the startup process, the water in the makeup tank may not have been effectively heated to approximately 200 degrees. So not all of the dissolved oxygen in the water was removed.
Oh no.
Therefore, during startup, oxygenated water entered the SCR instead of the heated oxygen-free water used during normal operation. This presented a serious corrosion hazard within the steel vessel. Eventually, hot condensed steam returning from the corrugation process was available, and operators opened a valve to allow it to flow into the SCR, reducing demand for water from the makeup tank. But due to the design of the SCR, water did not flow easily through the bottom head. Operators could achieve flow in the bottom head by opening a manual valve and allowing water to drain from the SCR, a procedure known as a blowdown. But between blowdowns, a small volume of oxygenated water would remain trapped in the bottom head, and over time, the oxygenated water corroded the steel. The potential for corrosion was a known problem. During its time operating the SCR...
This seemed like an interesting design flaw, but also that this shouldn't have come to it because the water should have been already treated to not have oxygen in it. So,
Loy Lang experienced at least 3 leaks due to corrosion. In response to a 2012 leak, A repair company removed most of the bottom head. The company patched it with new steel, leaving the remainder of the bottom head in place. But the original steel of the bottom head that was left in place was also thinned from corrosion. And between 2012 and 2017, it continued to degrade and eventually started to leak. On Friday, March 31st, Loy Lang operators noticed a leak that appeared to be coming from underneath the SCR. A local welding company was contacted to assess the SCR, but was not available until the following Monday, April 3rd. Loy Lang continued operating the leaking pressure vessel throughout the remainder of the day on Friday and shut down the steam generation system as normal that evening.
No.
On Monday, a Loy Lang operator began the regular startup process around 6 a.m. At approximately 7:20 a.m., the vessel catastrophically failed.
I'm just like...
When suddenly exposed to atmospheric pressure, the water in the vessel flashed into steam, greatly expanding in volume. The result was a boiling liquid expanding vapor explosion, or BLEVE. The explosion launched the SCR from the Loy Lang building and into the air. It traveled 520 feet, crashing through the roof of a nearby business a block away.
The part that surprises me about this is the fact of they... Like this isn't like a complicated case or anything, like, right? Like, you have a leaking vessel that's used for your main, your main operations that is pressurized and corroding. I feel like if they should have stopped using it, Yeah, it can't be. Let's just run business. It'll be usually like every single day you say that is another risk you take.
Debris damaged a third building as well as a parked vehicle. One Loy Lang operator and 3 employees of the nearby business were fatally injured.
2.
During its investigation, the CSB found 4 safety issues contributed to the explosion at Loy Lang. Uncontrolled pressure vessel corrosion, ineffective pressure vessel repair, gaps in pressure vessel inspection and regulation, and deficient process safety management systems. The first safety issue is pressure vessel corrosion. Oxygenated water in steam generation systems causes corrosion in steel and must be managed and controlled.
Like that part's
known. There was a history of equipment failures
never
caused by oxygen corrosion in the steam system, and 3 documented leaks in the SCR, including the 2012 leak that led to the repair of a portion of the bottom head. 5 documented corrosion failures in other areas of the system, and numerous undocumented leaks in the makeup tank.
The entire thing's been rusting. It's all been corroding. Why do you not...
Enough for the company to replace the carbon steel tank with one made from stainless steel to attempt to address the issues.
We found that all of the corrosion failures occurred in components of Loy Lang's steam system that, when operated under normal design conditions, should have experienced minimal or no corrosion at all. This points to the fact that oxygen was not properly managed or controlled within the steam system.
For instance, the CSB found that Loy Lang's steam system water routinely lacked sufficient concentration of chemicals called oxygen scavengers that are used to remove oxygen from the water. And Loy Lang startup practices likely introduced oxygenated water into the SCR daily. The result was that over time, uncontrolled oxygen caused corrosion that thinned portions of the bottom head of the SCR so much that the vessel catastrophically failed.
Loy Lang needed to adequately remove oxygen from its steam system water to prevent corrosion. But despite evidence of the hazard at the facility, the company did not take effective action before it was too late.
There it is, yeah.
The second safety issue found by the CSB is pressure vessel repair. In 2012, the repair made to the bottom head of the SCR left a corroded steel ring in the vessel. The ring continued to corrode for 5 years until it failed on the day of the incident.
5 years!
The CSB found that this repair did not comply with regulatory code. The regulatory body with authority at Loy Lang is the City of St. Louis. The City of St. Louis Mechanical Code required repairs of pressure vessels to conform to code from the National Board of Boiler and Pressure Vessel Inspectors. The 2012 repair of the SCR was performed by a National Board R-Stamp holding company, which meant the company was authorized to perform repairs to pressure vessels in accordance with the National Board Inspection Code.
How the fuck did they even get
But the
someone to do
CSB
that?
found that the repair did not adhere to that code, which generally requires that all defective material be removed.
The repair person didn't even fix it right. It's a pressure vessel. Like, who the fuck?
As a result, the 2012 SCR leak repair was ineffective, incomplete, and dangerous. And it was the unacceptably thin remaining material from that repair that failed.
The code not being followed by a licensed repair technician is a gigantic failure.
Repair, National Board Code required the involvement of a repair inspector, but did not require specific inspection points during the repair process to provide quality assurance.
Okay, well, no, wait. So, the thing about the repair person, from what I understand, is that their standards were the national standards, but the jurisdiction, well, this was in New Jersey, and New Jersey's codes were different, or slightly different, but even then, both of them did not apply when this repair person fixed it, well, quote-unquote fixed it, which is terrible on multiple levels.
Instead, the level of scrutiny applied to any repair was left to the individual inspector's discretion. In this case, the repair inspector approved the repair plan without first evaluating the SCR, and the inspector did not personally witness the inappropriate repair to the SCR bottom. Had the repair inspector seen the repair in progress, the inspector might have detected and refused to accept the inappropriate repair, which could have prevented the incident.
There were no.
Since the 2012 repair, the National Board made significant changes to the code, requiring inspectors to designate inspection points throughout the repair process.
Look how bad that's rusted. It's like flaking.
But gaps still exist. For example, the code does not specify whether the repair inspector must make in-person contact or view the job prior to reviewing and accepting a repair plan.
Understanding the extent of damage to a vessel is a critical step for a repair inspector to make when determining whether a company's repair plan is acceptable. We believe that this step should be specified in the National Board Code.
As a result, the CSB made a recommendation to the National Board of Boiler and Pressure Vessel Inspectors to update their rules to include prescriptive elements in the inspection process that would prevent the acceptance of a non-conforming repair or alteration. A third safety issue found by the CSB is pressure vessel inspection and regulation. At the time of the incident, the St. Louis City Code required an annual inspection of boilers and pressure vessels by city inspectors. But during the lifespan of the SCR, Loy Lang never applied for an installation or repair permit, or otherwise registered the vessel with the city. Therefore, the city had no knowledge of the SCR and no means of proactively initiating an inspection. The CSB found that despite the regulatory requirement that the SCR undergo annual inspections, there was no record of a city inspector ever having inspected the pressure vessel. Furthermore, the city had not inspected the Loy Lang steam generators generally since 2010.
Unfortunately, the City of St. Louis missed opportunities to prevent this incident. Had the city performed more regular inspections of the Loy Lang steam system, it could have identified...
I'm more baffled of, oh, this piece of equipment was never reported to the city. What? Like, how?
Identified the unregistered SCR.
Baseball. Hiya. I watched Uncle Roger videos early today. You can't. Hiya.
operation and ensured its inspection, potentially catching the corrosion hazard before the vessel failed.
At the time of the incident, despite requiring an annual inspection by city inspectors, the city code offered no specific guidance on inspection methods or tasks beyond the annual frequency. The inspections were specified to be as thorough as circumstances permit. The City of St. Louis has since changed its inspection requirements to require that boiler and pressure vessel inspections be performed by an approved third-party agency rather than city inspectors. However, the city still has not adopted any specific inspection methods or tasks beyond the annual frequency, and neither city inspectors nor third-party inspectors are explicitly required to hold any inspection certifications, except in the case of certain boilers. As a result, the CSB recommended that the City of St. Louis Board of Aldermen revise the City of St. Louis Mechanical Code to adopt a national consensus standard, such as National Board Inspection Code Part 2, to govern the requirements for in-service inspection of boilers and pressure vessels.
Yay, regulation.
And revise the city's mechanical code to require pressure vessel inspections to be performed by a National Board of Boiler and Pressure Vessel Inspectors in-service commissioned inspector.
Why was this not even in place to begin with? Dear God. Oh my God, it's another raid! Jenny! Hello! Oh my God! Come in, come in. Am I winning? I am questionably winning. Welcome, welcome everybody. Take a seat. If you guys haven't seen me from before or know about me, my name is Alma Hexblade, head guildmaster and chief barista of Books and Brews Guildhouse. Take a seat. You came in at a very interesting time. Today is Finding Out Friday. We were learning a bunch of just interesting topics. And just because you guys came in, I feel like we should come in and watch maybe one more video, honestly. Because we're at the end of this one, and I'm feeling like you might want a new one. So, we're going to wrap up this one, and we're going to get a new video. Let me just pull out, let me just grab a video. Hold on really quickly. Just to cue it up. Okay, this is one. I have not seen this video, so we're going to watch it together, and it's going to be great. Anyway.
Finally,
this video we're watching right now is from the United States, what was it, Chemical Safety Board? And we were learning about an incident that happened in St. Louis where like a pressure vessel exploded. It's a little bit of a downer, but the thing is that I always think is important for people to remember is that the reason why there are regulations and like security boards and stuff like that is because they keep people safe, right? Like people complain about, work safety or whatever. The reason why it's there is because people, if the rules aren't there, people are fine. And the rules, rules and regulations for safety are written in blood. I know it's a little bit of a downer, but we got other stuff, so just bear with me. Thank you guys for tuning in. I very much appreciate it.
The fourth safety issue the CSB found at Loy Lang was the lack of an effective safety management system.
To prevent this incident, Loy Lang needed to understand the hazards of its operation, implement and maintain safeguards to prevent corrosion in its steam system, and monitor those safeguards to ensure their proper function.
The CSB found that Loy Lang's management did not understand the hazards of its operation and did not see a leaking pressure vessel as a safety emergency. The company failed to prevent corrosion in the SCR, had no inspection.
I have no idea how you don't consider a leaking pressure vessel of pressurized water. Oh, well, actually, water can't be pressurized. Water under pressure, as a safety concern. You must be nutty.
Never investigated or addressed the root cause of the corrosion in its steam system, and repeatedly operated the SCR while it was leaking, including on the morning of the explosion. Therefore, the CSB concluded that Loy Lang did not employ sound safety management principles in addressing the risks associated with corrosion in its steam system.
Had Loy Lang instituted elements of an effective safety management system, including mechanical integrity, incident investigation, and effective corrosion prevention programs, the hazard of corrosion could have been mitigated and this incident could have been prevented.
As a result, the CSB made a recommendation to the Loy Lang Box Company to develop and implement a comprehensive safety management system that includes elements recommended in industry good practice guidance publications.
Leaking pressure vessels can be dangerous and should be thoroughly evaluated to ensure that they are fit to operate. But even before a pressure vessel is compromised, there are many ways for companies to ensure that damage mechanisms, including corrosion, are properly understood and controlled. Doing so can prevent catastrophic incidents before they ever happen. Thank you for watching this CSB safety video.
The safety videos are good. Like, in my mind, these are more educational and more interesting than, like, I don't know, like true crime. Because the thing about true crime is, like, it's a murder. It only happened once, and, you know, the investigation has been done. But this is like, this affects you in the real world. I mean, okay, maybe there's a small chance you get murdered. We're not going to talk about that. But, like, normal operation in your, potentially your, you know, daily life, if you work in these types of places, it's more interesting. Okay. I lied. Not one more video, 2 more videos, because I know that there's one that I forgot to show, and I'm gonna put it over here and not show it to you guys yet. Okay. Alright, this next video is from my channel that I really like. It's called Answers in Progress. And they just kind of do a lot of various stuff. I can't even describe them. But this video title is, I mean, I trained to eat the world's hottest pepper, so here we go.
This is the world's hottest pepper.
These are the Carolina Reapers.
The Carolina Reaper.
This is the hottest thing I've ever eaten in my life.
This is very hot.
And I'm gonna train to eat it.
This seems unethical.
Thank you to Helix Sleep for sponsoring a portion of this video.
Fire.
For context,
spicy.
I usually avoid spicy food whenever I go out. I like to enjoy my food, and whenever I have spicy food, I feel like I'm in pain. But it makes me kind of sad because I feel like I'm missing out on so many dishes from around the world, and I'd love to be able to try them. But I can't, because I just can't handle the heat. You know, dishes like jerk chicken, I need to get it very mild. Sichuan hot pot, that hot Korean soup, you know what I'm talking about? Looks very good. Too spicy. And I can't even eat some of the foods from my own culture, which is upsetting to me, and probably even more upsetting to my family. And today, we're gonna fix that. If I can train myself to eat the world's spiciest pepper, which is the Carolina Reaper, then theoretically I can handle anything, right? All right, let's do this. So I went online to see if I can gain some wisdom. We measure spiciness in Scoville units. That represents the concentration of capsaicin in a pepper, the compound that makes peppers spicy. It looks like I have a lot of peppers to buy. Let's go shopping. Peppers vary across the scale, ranging from 0 to up to 2 million Scoville units. Bigger number, the hotter the pepper.
2 million!
So we have our peppers here. Now the plan is to
2 million will
expose
kill you.
myself to hotter and hotter peppers.
From what I
until
understand, the way
hot
spice
pepper
work is you
not
basically
hot
become
anymore.
immune
So
to
we're
it.
gonna start with a shishito pepper. Then we're gonna go with a poblano pepper. Then we got a jalapeno, cayenne pepper, red Thai chili, habanero pepper, and a Scotch bonnet. And then the Carolina Reaper pepper.
Wait, shishito peppers
I haven't opened it
had
from the package yet because I've been scared. But
shishito peppers had a Scoville rating? I did not know that.
Oh my gosh, I can smell them. I have to eat that, so it just looks scary. While we are here and we have all of these peppers, I'm gonna leave.
Oh yeah, if you guys want a context, I believe capsaicin, or not capsaicin, the stuff used in pepper spray, I believe is 2 million. Might be higher, but I believe it is 2 million Scoville units.
Leave that there. Why don't we do a little test and see how far we can get before things get too spicy? Hold up. Put this here. Does this look like hot ones? Easy.
Shishitos are yummy.
Maybe it's 'cause I'm not
just
getting
saying.
any of the seeds, but that actually is kind of tasty. Okay, this is where I'm getting a little scared. Time for a jalapeno. That one tastes better than the first one.
Eating a raw
Maybe I'm
jalapeno,
just
oh
built
god.
different, I didn't know. This one's not hot. Take it back. gotta see. Oh, that's hot. This next one is the one that I'm actually really scared for. It's the cayenne pepper. Cheers. That one's burning a little bit. That's hot. It's just gonna get worse from here. I should put an ice cube in there. So my tongue isn't on fire anymore. Out of curiosity, let's eat the red Thai chili.
I would never do this. And
Oh,
it hits.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
there it
yeah.
is.
I don't think I'm tapping out here. So I was supposed to start shooting a couple weeks ago, giving myself an entire 30 days to do this challenge. However, because of my own self, I have 10 days until I need to wrap shooting. Got a lot less time than I thought I did. But that is fine because I did some math. And if I have about 3 meals a day for the next 10 days,
Just don't hurt yourself
that
like
is
this.
30 meals. That is almost
It's for science.
30 days. But that really means that I need to start now.
It's called building up a humanity? Immunity.
Regular pepper. I don't know why I was procrastinating this. I began day 1 with the poblano pepper. As I was eating these peppers, my mouth hurt and my tongue felt like it was on actual fire. Definitely spicier. But apparently that's normal. Spiciness isn't a taste. It's a physical response, where sweetness, saltiness, and bitterness affect your taste buds. Spiciness, specifically capsaicin, attacks your heat receptors. So that's why when we eat spicy food, we feel hot, or you feel like you need to sweat. I also learned that the seeds are not the hottest part of a pepper. It's actually the veins that carry capsaicin, and it's most concentrated in the pith of a pepper, or at the center of it. So this is a jalapeno pepper. I feel like this
did
is
not
a
know
pepper
that
most
part.
people are familiar with. So you're gonna watch me eat it while I talk about the sponsor of this portion of today's video.
Absolutely terrifying
Makes
sponsor
premium
spot.
mattresses and bedding that is tailored to you, and it's shipped right to your door in a convenient little box. So whether you sleep alone or with a partner, you can take their sleep quiz. You can find a mattress.
Imagine doing an ad read while like
has a
just
unique body and unique sleeping
torturing
preferences.
yourself like
I
this.
personally am a side sleeper, so I went with a firm
What would hurt
mattress,
more,
the
the
Helix
fact that you're selling
Twilight
yourself
mattress.
out, or
With the Helix sleep mattress, you get a
the
100-night
spice?
sleep trial along with 10 years of warranty, and there's financing options available with flexible payment plans.
Wait, she's eating a Ferrero Rocher. I think that counts as cheating.
For about 3 months, and I love
That
it.
has
And if you
that
haven't
has
seen
milk.
the
That has a
Consider Helix Sleep and click the link in the description below or go to this
Cocoa butter in it.
on screen for up to $200 off of the mattress.
Does cocoa butter count?
With 2 free pillows. Sweet dreams.
I don't know.
I can't sleep.
I only do ad reads
I need
while
more
eating
peppers.
spicy foods. Yeah. Also,
I don't know
also, if the company that was
peppers
sponsoring me
was very
gave me the spicy peppers.
But I kept going. But to tell you the truth, I really don't know if it was working. And actually, I
100,000
think I started eating
Scovilles.
peppers like popcorn because I realized that my time was running out and I needed to just eat more faster. So as I kept eating these peppers, the pain of eating them started to ease up. It's the last one.
Look at her go,
My
though.
stomach was a different story. And I don't think anyone wants to know more about that. Poor stomach.
Look at her go.
I think I'm ready.
She's eating a Scotch bonnet.
To eat the Carolina Reaper. Water, a glass for oat milk if I need it, my oat milk, a glove for safety. I texted my friends I'm about to eat the pepper, so if I stop responding to their messages, they know why. This is it. I'm procrastinating taking a bite. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna bite it now.
At least it's dried, I guess.
Oh, that was disgusting. My mouth is on fire. Oh my god. It was this moment that she realized that oat milk was not going to save her. Casein is a protein that
Yeah, there it
binds
is.
the heat receptor to neutralize the burn. Oat milk does not have that. Dairy does, which is why I grabbed some Greek yogurt. My eyes are watering. I only took a tiny bite.
I believe in her.
I'm gonna call my friends and let them know what happened.
What has happened?
You're alive!
There's a tear stuck in my eyeball, but I won't.
Bro, keep
Don't
your
touch it.
hands.
Oh
Oh,
my-
no, my god!
Look how much I ate.
What I'm seeing is a full pepper.
This is so disappointing.
I think you're lying. I don't think you ate it.
Do you want me to eat more of it?
Kind of.
If you were on the phone with me 5 minutes ago, I would not have been a human. I feel so warm right now, but also I don't know why I did that.
And we have to do this for Patreon?
What if we just cut the Patreon?
All in favor of cancelling the Patreon.
These two will be eating a Carolina Reaper
Here it comes.
I'm going. I gotta find milk.
You seem fine.
What if you take another bite?
Good excuse for a
I kinda don't
Patreon.
want to watch this.
I do.
Okay, friends. I guess you're not my friends. Actually, you're making me eat this.
Oh my god, it's a big bite.
Oh no.
How easy is it to get Carolina Reapers online?
I need to take this glove off.
I don't know if I want to do this.
I don't know why I'm looking this up.
It's so hot. It's so hot.
In fairness, I don't know what I expected. I obviously didn't expect Melissa to pass away.
I thought it was gonna pass away, so I wore black to mourn.
Do you think this helped with your spice tolerance then?
I can buy 10 of them
I've never eaten
off
anything that
Etsy
hot in my life.
for
spicy food?
$17
Have you eaten anything except for
with
chili
free shipping.
the past week?
No.
I feel like there's a serious flaw in the methodology here.
What do I do now?
Just go to
Why can you sell these on? Hold on. No. We're looking at this really quickly. Why can you sell these on Etsy? Why are these on Etsy? Why can you just buy these on Etsy? Why do they qualify for free shipping? Why do 6 people have it in their cart? Why? Why? Also, as a side note, funny thing I saw on Etsy. Authentic gender fluid. Anyway.
to a restaurant and be like, can I have something spicy, please? And enjoy the flavors of spice.
I'm gonna go eat food now, because the peppers have taken over my brain and my sanity. Okay, so I think that Sabrina and Taha were right. There was definitely a flaw in my methodology. The new plan is to go and eat at a whole bunch of restaurants. I hope this will be a lot more fun. When I started this journey, I was afraid of eating spicy food, but I did this challenge because I wanted to know what I was missing. I didn't understand why it was necessary to have spice in a dish. And when I was eating,
oh, these look
it
good.
surprised me that I was able to look past the spiciness and actually enjoy the food. And I think that
Epic
was
mug?
because I'd
Yeah,
spent
I almost
a
kind of
very
want one.
unpleasant week
Almost,
eating
just a little
peppers.
bit.
I know it's kind of crazy. My tongue hurts a little bit, but it was actually enjoyable. Could this be working? This is David, chef and restaurant owner.
It's not just about spice level. It's like such an integral characteristic in the food culture. It's pretty obvious when you eat a dish where chilies are foundational to it. When you eat it and it doesn't have that, there's a massive component that's missing. Like mapo tofu, I can't imagine eating a mapo tofu without it being spicy.
Mapo
If it
tofu.
weren't spicy, it just would be a different dish.
I noticed the spiciness in the dish, but it was complemented with all these other flavors.
Acidity is a good one, and sweetness. Honey, sugar, sweet sauces balance it out nicely.
It added this new layer to the experience of eating that I wasn't expecting to enjoy so much. And with this newfound appreciation for spicy food, there was just one more thing that I wanted to try. I promised y'all that I would eat a Carolina Reaper, and I'm gonna do that, but in a more fun way.
Hot sauce is food that goes on food, and to me it's all about flavor and enjoyment and having fun.
This is Noah, hot sauce expert and creator of some pretty popular hot sauces that you might
Yo, we got the last dab.
Here we are at the finish
Yeah.
line. This is the last dab.
It has to have good flavor. To me, that's when I feel the best, is when they say, sure, there's a lot of stuff that's hot out there, but yours actually tastes really good. To me, spicy food is kind of like seeing a movie in color. Once you know that those things exist, it's really not as great of an experience to just see a movie in black and white. If you were watching Jurassic Park that way, you'd know that you were missing a big part of the experience. And for me, that's what eating not spicy food is like. Some people get the wrong idea about hot sauce and get scared of it, thinking that hot sauce is all this, scary, painful thing, when really there's a hot sauce for everybody. Even if you don't like spice at all, I know that I'll find something perfect for you.
That is so good. I'm cruising right now. This is delicious. Okay, I'm gonna rinse out the bowl for this one because I feel like this one is going to need it.
The last dab Apollo, yeah. Be careful with that if you're still just getting into spice. That's not for the faint of heart.
It actually uses a hybrid of the Carolina Reaper and Pepper X. Pepper X is notably hotter than the Carolina Reaper, but it's not officially noticed by the Guinness Book of World Records, so it's not officially the hottest pepper in the world, but it's hotter.
Me and Chris Schoenberger, who's the creator of Hot Ones, we both ate the last dab Apollo on the wing for the first time. And we're both sitting there like, tastes good. And I can feel it under my tongue. 5 minutes later, we're both sitting there with tears pouring down our faces. And he says, I think this is too hot to give to celebrities.
Okay, that's quite a bit. That is a lot of hot sauce.
Oh, she's doing it.
You Hot Ones fans out there, I'm putting a little bit extra on the last wing.
Yeah. I respect anybody who
Okay,
does, in
I'm
fact,
just gonna
put
eat it now.
a little bit more on their wings for the last stab.
Overall, I'm really glad that I went on this journey and got to experience this whole new dimension of food.
Oh, wow.
And learn from the best on how spice can be used to unlock even more complex flavors.
If you like more content like this, subscribe to our Patreon.
So if you're scared of spicy food like I was, I'm gonna ask you to give it a try. Just don't eat the Carolina Reaper. I regret that.
Like, comment, subscribe. Oh, God. It's a mood. It is a mood. Okay. That was supposed to be the last video of tonight. But, B-U-T, but, there's a special event happening tomorrow that I want to entice you all to watch. If you don't know me personally, am a fan of combat robotics. Watching robots violently beat each other into plastic pieces. And the largest tournament of my local region is the Norwalk Havoc Robot League. Their finals is tomorrow. The prize is $50,000 plus $1 million to a STEM charity of the winning team's choice. Please support them. They're very good. I will show you an example of what you may see, because there are a lot of good fights.
There's no aluminum tape this time.
You didn't have tape last time?
No, I mean, everyone else has had aluminum tape covering their entire robot. He has a pretty nasty weapon, though. I can't let him get too close.
Oh, this is a good one.
Yeah, this is going to be a great fight. This is the work from them all day today. These are two guys that probably should be building a heavyweight right now.
Yeah, they've got some important dates coming up.
Yeah, but they're here. They're putting on a show. They're doing a phenomenal job. Mixtape setting Hurt Caboose on fire. Hurt Caboose pretending like it's not happening. But like we said earlier, there's got to be some psychological component to seeing your bot engulfed in flame. It makes your driving maybe just a little bit off. Maybe makes you make some more drastic choices than you would have before.
Oh no.
There definitely adds like an element of urgency.
Toasty. Yes, most assuredly. You don't want to stay in that position for very long.
Ooh, like that's not where you want to be.
Yeah, that right there, that's dangerous. Like right there, that's where you get to a place where belts start to get a little bit loosey-goosey.
They're kind of cute and little compared to some of you see. Yes, this is the 3-pound weight class. There are 3 weight classes: 3-pound, 12-pound, and 30-pound.
Stay on their hubs. It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. I have to say, though, this is my first time seeing Mixtape up close, because normally I'm in my enclave.
Oh yeah, got his weapon.
What are your thoughts?
The level of flame is otherworldly.
Calvin told us when we had him on our podcast just a few months ago, Mixtape is fire.
He wasn't lying. He was not lying.
I love this. Look at that. That is a beautiful.
Oh, now that's on fire.
Mixtape the pin with the fire. It looks like some of that fire lingering on Hurt Caboose after the fact. Yes, there are parts of Hurt Caboose that are still aflame.
Still aflame. You have to wonder what is. Oh no. It's like a melted action figure.
One of the wheels is still spinning, the other one not so much, but both of the wheels look real melty, and all of that 3D printed armor is now not so 3D and not so printed anymore.
No!
Such a good job of avoiding this exact outcome, and you can only outrun it for so long.
Something to remind the fans of, the way 3D printing works is you heat up a material and melt it into a shape and then let that shape cool. What is happening right now is that 3D printed material is remelting into a shape that was not intended.
Oh.
We've got a mobile s'more.
Yeah, that
Oh,
is
it's
just
smoking.
sad. I mean, I'm sure the bot is mostly okay on the inside.
It's like
maybe,
twitching.
But the outside is cooked.
But you know what? Props to Angel is not tapping out.
No, he is holding it together.
Its wheels look. It's using its wheels look like mashed sweet potato.
Are basically just Jello at this point. They're not able to engage with the floor just because they've melted off. It's 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's the end of this fight.
But okay, that may be terrible, but we do see actual horrifying destruction. Let me grab one of the shorts that people saw recently. Like, you may think that, like, oh, they're tiny. They don't do as much damage to the 250-pound bots. No, it still causes enough destruction. Please watch.
Oh, we have to check the integrity of the floor after depth charge. Look at this. Depth charge is a 45-pound robot. It got an extra 15-pound weight bonus because it's not using wheels. This is bristle drive. Look at that. The front of James. Oh, no!
Oh, my. That was awful.
He left the huge hits.
Come on. Come on.
Oh, I do not feel safe, Chris.
send you guys over to Princess Quinn. She is a friend of mine. Very chill VTuber. She does art. I believe she's drawing Pomu Rainpuff right now, if you are fans of her. Let me just do this really quickly. There we go, that should be it. Alright, thank you guys for tuning in. My next stream will be Tuesday. I haven't thought up a schedule yet, so we'll figure out what we're going to be doing there. No real raid message or anything, just of course be nice, say hi, and make sure you guys save before you go. Have a good one. Bye-bye. I'm going to do that raid in 3, 2, 1. Off we go.